What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. With me tonight, I have Heather, who can barely talk. And I have Tim, Basement, and Connor. How are you guys doing tonight? See, I knew that's
good now.
This is where this was fucking starting.
Oh, we're going off the rails already.
Listen, if this is anything like the last night's stream where it took us 20 minutes to get to a point where like JP was literally had to almost leave the stream because I thought he was going to shit himself from laughing so much.
Well, that was before the fucking show started.
Yeah.
We're good.
I'm looking forward to this one. This one is my favorite of the original
Agreed.
prequels. For more than just the obvious reasons.
Did you just say of the original prequels?
Yeah.
Hey,
he's on it.
They might redo them. You never fucking know. They redo fucking everything else.
You could prequel the prequels.
Let's do our adaptation of fucking Star Wars.
Where Obi-Wan's a little kid and Qui-Gon's a teenager.
No, where
Qui-Gon,
it's where all the real prominent people are fucking females. I mean, I wouldn't mind it because
it's more Star Wars.
That would be
Jar Jar Binks as a fucking tadpole.
Jar Jar Binks just burns.
Just as long as they don't change the storyline, I would have been
agreed.
I would have been all right with a
man
or a woman being the lead, being the main character in the whole fucking thing.
If they did a prequel to the prequel, they should execute everybody working for Disney.
Do it.
Live on air.
Do it.
I hear you, but
Kathleen Kennedy, do it.
Apparently,
she is fucking.
South Park is just destroying Kathleen Kennedy.
South Park is like they're blaming her for the reason why Disney sucks.
I saw that clip.
This South Park special is going to be the top of them all.
I saw that clip before Basement shared it. And I'm like, oh my mother of God, we need to watch this.
I may actually fucking watch that episode because I want to see what the fuck.
Well, it's not an episode; it's a special. It's out on Peacock, I think, or Paramount.
I don't have Paramount. I don't have Paramount.
We do.
I do.
I'll have to watch it. But we're not here to shit on Kathleen Kennedy. We're here to shit on Revenge of the Sith. But are we? So for the little bit of the backstory, I know Tim did. I've watched every episode of Clone Wars. Basement.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I'm
going to be using
like episode 10 or 12 or something.
I'm going to be using that as a reference a lot tonight because they're going to be like, "Why the fuck did they do that?" And it explains it. It explains it all.
Yeah.
In Clone Wars. So
cool.
I don't want this to turn into a 4-hour stream, but all I'm going to do
a 3-hour movie. So
give me 5 minutes.
But it's a really good 3-hour movie. It's not 3 hours. But
no, I think it's like
2 hours and 47 minutes.
I will read the synopsis and I'll let everybody talk, and then I will pop. The only time you'll really hear me pop in, hopefully, I'm sure I'll pop
That's
in.
Never gonna happen.
But I mean, my main objective is to let you guys talk, and then I might put my 2 cents in. But if there's something that I need to reference, I'll let you know.
Pounds.
Is all I'm saying. If there's something to
you
reference,
just threw in $1.10.
So, all right. So that I just wanted to. So keep in mind that for 3 years, the Clone Wars have raged across the galaxy as the Republic and Separatist forces fight for dominance. And it says it all in the crawl, except for that it's been going on for 3 years. A crucial battle high over planet Coruscant as Anakin and Obi-Wan, who are Jedis, attempt a daring rescue of Supreme Chancellor Palpatine from General Grievous's command ship. Now, give back reference. At some point throughout this, before everybody starts talking, Anakin became a Jedi Knight at this point. But they were, you got to keep in mind that they were all generals. And if you've noticed throughout the movie, they reference, Master all the time. It has no idea who it is. I just wanted to point that out for anybody gets confused. Like, why does he keep calling him Master if he doesn't? Because he was trained by him. It's respect.
They do also. They also do reference, and obviously a big contentious point later on of Anakin being on the Jedi Council but not granted the rank of Master.
So they
it's
do
not
that. And that's,
it's not a huge part of it, but it's a pivotal point.
It is.
Oh no,
it
is
a huge part of it.
It's
massive.
We'll get into it when we.
It has a massive effect on Anakin's psyche.
But I also feel like one of the reasons where they're going to want to keep that relationship, Master and Padawan, is no matter what, no matter how strong Anakin gets, his mindset is that of a kid. Like, he doesn't think like he doesn't have mature thoughts.
His arrogance really comes through in this episode. Big time.
Real quick, and this is kind of one of my things that I said about the last movie was that I felt like it, and again, this is maybe just my opinion, they bull rushed the whole him being hot-headed like right out the gate, where I wish they would have like let it slow burn a little bit more in the second movie, where, funny enough, I felt like this movie did that better in terms of balancing his,
So Clone Wars really builds on it because you do see his aggressiveness and his anger and his arrogance really, I shouldn't say his anger, but his...
A lot
is
of
more
what happens,
offensively orientated mindset.
A lot of what happens in Clone Wars, and this is like that being really like the movie that should have melded together what was happening.
Yes.
A lot of that is very jarring because with Anakin, he's like either super creepy or he's super angry, and there's not like a fluid performance there in this movie. And one thing I'm going to highlight is I think they fucking got Hayden Christensen as Anakin. No, for this movie more than for the second one, he didn't know how to play that character properly. That everything came off fucking weird, and I don't know if that was like on purpose, but if it was, I'd question the storytelling nature of that. But he does a really good job in this movie. That's all I'm going to say.
I do agree.
And also, the opening sequence in this movie is hands down much better than the last couple. You start off with a bang.
Yep.
Yeah.
So about that real fast, I'm not usually pretty big on like the actual like the pilot fights or like the star fights or like starfighters and all that stuff.
Dog fights?
Not usually, but this is one of my favorite ones out of all the Star Wars movies. It's this one and the one in Return of the Jedi are two of my favorite. I don't know if it's because of the ADHD and the fucking absolute pure chaos, but also, and I'm sure you guys probably caught this because you're more into it than I am, of the fighter pilot, the ships that Obi-Wan and Anakin use look a lot like early stage TIE fighters.
They're miniature versions, yes.
What?
I don't think so.
The Jedi.
I caught that. The shape of them.
I have to rewatch because for some reason I'm thinking they were driving those like diamond shape.
They were driving the diamond shaped ones.
So the TIE fighters are like fucking balls with wings.
Yeah, basically balls with
right.
square
You
wings.
just chop off the nose of the ship they were piloting. It's almost the same thing.
Oh, I think I have to look at it again. Do they have like the brackets around the ship?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I can see what you're saying there because I can't remember.
I could be reaching. I could be reaching a bit, but that's just what I noticed.
I've
that could be
so much Star Wars over time that I've seen like a billion different ship models.
Yeah.
And it just like went back to like one of the games driving the triangle ones.
Now, with that being said, the clone troopers starfighters look to be early model X-wings. So.
Yes.
So I think essentially the Separatists become the fucking rebels.
Basically, yeah, it feels right.
That is a great picture. I'm sorry.
I love that picture.
What are we going to do? We'll get there. We'll get there. That's actually my favorite scene in the whole fucking movie when he does that. He pops. Well, it's one of those.
Of course,
the little kid standing there, and you see the gravity of what's about to fucking happen. Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? First, I'm going to fucking lop your head off, you little fuck, for even saying my name.
There's too many
Call
of
me a
them. What are
master,
we
not
to
a
do?
master.
So, upon finding the Chancellor, they end up finding the Chancellor. Which is...
Good.
That
Well, also
sequence,
introduced
that
to-
sequence was pretty good.
So this is an introduction to Grievous
Yep.
as well.
Yes.
And they're talking about getting rid of his ship, and that was kind of neat. That like, oh, we're gonna go for this, and this is how it's gonna work, and then it all kind of turns to shit.
I like Grievous, but he confuses the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
He's
What?
a cyborg.
He's not a
What?
cyborg.
He's
Oh.
a robot with a human heart.
Which is
So what's your
By definition, he's a cyborg, yes.
what's your confusion about Grievous?
Okay, so in this early part, right,
Yep.
he gets shot into space.
Again, he's a cyborg.
Except he breathes.
Does he though?
I think
I'm
he has
asking.
like
He has an apparatus. So-
yeah, we were talking about this when we were
coughs.
watching it. He has like an incubation pod or something for his human organs of what's left that
Right,
he can
so-
keep alive with.
So I
normally.
remember.
There you go.
I remember he had the cough, and I'm like, okay, that could be anything though. That's
So
not like,
there's
he's not
a
like gasping for
backstory.
air.
There is a backstory to Grievous, and they could do him. I mean, I can tell you right now, Star Wars doing if they follow this story, and I think it's canon. There are stories out there that tell a story about everything. They tell a story about Boba Fett.
Oh, I'm sure
And a lot
they
of
are.
those are expanded.
I'm telling you,
universe
Star
stuff.
Wars has like a live action TV show where they adapted the prequels and the original trilogy. Would be fucking unstoppably good if it was cast well and they explored some of the things. You get so
Yeah.
much more like meat because what you get with the fucking movies is like, oh, the character's interesting. We've written fucking 17 books on their backstory, but you're only gonna get the last page. Here it is.
Oh,
But no,
beautiful.
I like Grievous. I think his design's cool. His uniqueness is cool. Like there's a bunch of cool things I really like him, but that's the only little, and it's a small nugget because I was like, okay, he's coughing, but I mean, that could be, but then I remember when he's running to the next planet, he's like gasping for air. I'm like, how the fuck did he breathe in space then?
So, I think he has an apparatus and the incubation thing, and that's what keeps him. So he can, because he is essentially like, again, the backstory on him is his people were attacked by the Empire,
And asthma.
and yes, and he was severely injured, and they saved. This is where they save the parts that are essential to that race.
Yep.
And that's how they kept him alive, just like Darth Vader.
Right. I
I would
like
assume
him.
he has
Right.
like an oxygen tank built into his apparatus.
Agreed.
I think
Also-
that's
Yeah.
what I would like.
Yeah.
Me fan crafting. That's otherwise it makes no sense.
Also, the way he says Dooku makes me laugh every single time. I don't give a shit when anybody says
So
Dooku.
we're to that point where Anakin, or where they come face to face with Count Dooku again,
Some face.
Mhm.
and he managed to incapacitate Obi-Wan Kenobi. But Anakin ends up getting the better
Fucking
upper hand.
launches.
Now that's not a play on words.
Oh.
That's not a play upper hand. He literally cuts both of his hands off.
Yep.
Right, but real quick too on the fight with Dooku round
Hold
2.
on, I'm not
And
done
this
with
is
it yet.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yep,
not
good.
over. It's not over. So, leading to the Chancellor requesting that Dooku be killed. Anakin hesitates, but then does the deed.
Oh,
He
with his head.
He
Do it.
cuts off Dooku's head.
Do it.
Go ahead.
So the one thing I was going to say was that one thing I appreciate with these prequel movies, as much as we may have been, or even myself have nitpicked or like, whatever, the fights in general are greater compared to the original, which, I mean, that's just natural progression of time, right? So
Yeah.
obviously the original was in the 70s. The original trilogy was in the 70s. Now we're talking 2005, I think this one was released. So obviously,
that sounds about right.
yeah, force fights are going to be so much better. So like I appreciate it in as brief as a fight this was, but like pushing and obviously I'll appreciate a lot more when we get to the other Force fights towards the end of the movie. Oh God, can't wait for that. Just saying, like, I appreciate like you're able to do so much more, because like one thing that I really was bummed out, and again, limitation on technology and time and all that stuff, is the final fight between Obi-Wan and Vader in A New Hope, which we'll get to in the next movie, or next when we get to that movie, is that like it was obviously relatively like just like two, and then done. This one, you can now you can drag things out a little bit more and have more creative freedom with it.
I know for this trilogy, one big focus that they wanted to do, because they knew the selling point for a lot of Star Wars is lightsabers and lightsaber battles. Yeah. I know that they invested heavily on how that was going to work, giving like different stances and different techniques to different people and how they used their lightsaber and how they fought. That was like something that they really went in with, like, with a lot of focus. And so that's why you can get the like differences, the different nuance, and also like how certain people are able to wield certain lightsabers over the other. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. I was watching this, and I'm a fan of anime, so I was watching this movie, and I'm like, man, they are fucking pulling from that so hard.
Oh yeah, 1000%, I could see that. Like, which I'm totally fine with, because
no, it's perfect. It works really well.
It's a perfect fit. And I know. And just a last little tangent here, my complaint about Obi-Wan and Vader's fight in Episode 4, they more than made up for in the Obi-Wan series with that fight. Oh my God.
Yes, they more than made up for that fight.
The what fight now?
The fight between
and Obi-Wan.
So I was actually going to talk about this, and I was going to say, but I don't know if I did or not, but you remember that lightsaber fight that they did a remake of it?
Yes.
I've seen that video.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
And you never see the face.
Nope. Well, I think they do like one or two like quick moments, but they CGI
you can't
just quick
really
enough
make out that it's not who it is. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, if you're just going to be a dickhead about it and say, yeah, it's not. Well, we know it's not him. That's the point. But the point is because per storyline, and we'll get into it, they were getting older. And they kind of justified it. They kind of justified it in Rebels. When Obi-Wan defeats Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He actually... That storyline ended perfectly, I thought. Mm-hmm. It just showed how... And that's why everybody wanted the Obi-Wan... See, it intertwines. But you can watch them specific episodes, and they do callbacks. So like that Rebels episode, you don't have to watch the whole thing to understand that. Just that little that little shot, that little scene of them two and how long that fight takes, fucking says everything and justifies everything in New Hope with the lightsaber fight with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
And we'll get there, but this is
Obi-Wan was never gonna fight hard. And you knew he knew what he was going there for. So that we'll get there, bro. We'll get there.
We'll get to that.
But yes,
I was going to say one thing
as far as what it would have been, I think they did a really. This lights. Well, when we get there.
So I think the prequels set the bar really high for lightsaber fights and choreography that some future projects don't hold up.
Especially this movie specifically.
This movie specifically is really good in terms of like choreography and the lightsaber fights. You know it was a main focus for them, which is good on them. Did anybody else kind of laugh when fucking Obi-Wan got thrown into the banister or whatever, and he falls over it, the thing falls on top of him, and then gives him a little ass push?
I nearly pissed myself.
I bet you any money they did it without the ass push, and they're like, it doesn't look very convincing. So like, we're gonna add a little bit of something. Yeah.
Of course, also love Palpatine's just
Palpatine is phenomenal in this entire movie.
But this particular scene,
funny as shit.
This particular scene, there's two reasons why I like it. The first is the obvious, good Anakin, good, kill him.
So yes, that is the beginning. So once you're paying attention,
Never.
you know Palpatine's
Always.
that guy.
Yeah. Right.
Just the way he started getting darker and darker and darker and darker is he kept on talking like this, like he was
I
gonna.
was about to say,
His voice got raspier. Almost.
So good.
going back now, knowing where things are going to go, even in the first go through, there's little things that you can pick up on that are more hints towards like where things. Again, if you saw the original trilogy, you know where everything's headed for the most part. But like there's little tiny nuances now where like I'm picking up. I'm like, oh, particularly when he says kill him, the way Dooku looks at him.
Because Dooku was duped.
Yeah, he was
Not-
just fucking apprentice.
He was used.
Not
He
that
was
much.
used. He was used. This all goes
I think
back
at that
to
point
the clones. He was used to get Sypha Dyas to do this
Do it.
by Palpatine.
Do it.
Right.
Do it.
But I think that at that point he like everything clicked.
Yep.
Correct.
Well, I mean, Anakin gave him a hand and head job.
All in one
But-
shot.
Also,
This entire movie, the other thing that it shows real well is Palpatine's manipulating everyone.
See,
I love
Yeah.
you tried to
When
like say
Anakin is-
leave
Anakin-
Obi-Wan behind.
Okay, so we'll get to this, but the whole I was talking to JP and Heather while watching this, and it's like, man, Anakin is so doomed from the get-go because he's not like mature enough to handle and he gets in the most complex position anybody can be put in, where he's being manipulated from every side, and he's a pawn, but he also has like he's being manipulated by, I guess, his thoughts for Padme and stuff. She's kind of a demon. But I love too when he's like, okay, it's time to get the fuck out of this place. And Anakin's like, his fate is the same as ours. This
But
is
I
like
love
the
how,
first time where he puts like he basically is he's the good side of the Force. He's always going for the good side of the Force, even if he does bad things to get there.
Yeah, because it's to force it.
Hey,
Wait, shit! I forgot we had this.
So I 100% agree. This is where This is where the conflict, and it just goes to show how powerful Palpatine was.
Mm-hmm.
I just love how much of a dick he is.
Because Anakin is actually very, very powerful in the lore. Like, I mean, he is.
Leave him or never make it.
He is very powerful.
Anakin's very powerful, just at the same time, he's also very naive.
And that's the problem.
Yep.
And the arrogance, and this is the beginning of him being manipulated.
he's naive,
being
egotistical,
manipulated
selfish.
Because
Oh, so he's a teenager.
Yeah,
he's being
He's-
manipulated.
yes.
He's being manipulated because Palpatine can feed and feed off his arrogance, and then give him enough to where he's going to force him to do something that he doesn't want to fucking do.
The thing I
What's that
love the
thing?
most about the this story for Vader is the fact that he was kind of like, the Force made him, and he was supposed to be this like hero of fucking mankind, and
Yes.
instead he's like, nah.
Well,
I got a chick pregnant. I gotta take care of that shit first.
I will say,
Well, see how that goes
I
later.
will say, and it is stated, and it has been stated that without evil, you can't
It
have
is known.
good.
Yeah.
Without light, you can't have dark. Without dark,
But I
you
love
can't have light.
I love
So
I love
it's
it's the prototypical story of a good character that is just the worst.
yes.
Do it.
So
Do
he
It's something that most modern movies don't have the balls to do.
Yes.
right. He takes Doku's life and
Doku?
he stands there. He goes, I shouldn't have.
Ooh.
One of the scenes where he is when he does it and he stands there like right after. He says, I should not have done that. And Palpatine says the same fucking thing Mace Windu says.
He was too
He
powerful,
was too powerful to be kept alive. See, it's that little things you've got to connect.
Yep.
Where
The one thing-
both sides have the same philosophy. One, it's the way they explain the dark side of the Force. They only the way that the Jedi and the Sith are is the perfect good and evil because they only look from within. The Jedi, whatever. That's they do. I thought they did a good job of explaining.
Well, it's a good take on like any modern day law where it's like perspective changes everything.
I was gonna say I'm gonna wait till we get to a certain part, but I have a bit of a tangent / rant. Well, not rant, but like just a tangent I'm gonna go off of. That's one of the key reasons I absolutely love this movie is because of there's a lot of black and white, but there's a shit ton of gray here.
Well, of course.
This is where like Star Wars is at its best when it does show that yes, there's a yin and a yang, but everything like where those lines meet is where everything really happens. Like nobody really wants the old tale of good versus evil, just black and white. You want that melding of it, and they do a really good job with this movie, at least.
Yes.
Not all the movies that they've done.
I agree.
So they saved Dooku. Or not Palpatine. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say what?
One thing I really don't like with this.
Go ahead.
The one thing I don't like with at least he cuts off his head, right?
Yes.
And you can tell he's conflicted in the moment.
Correct.
But this is like a tail of the tape for his character and the writing for his character, where it's like he does something terrible and that's it.
Yes.
They don't show him kind of like fixating on it later on. He just moved on.
Yeah, it doesn't have much weight or heavy. It should have been a heavier moment.
I mean, they did a better job with I killed them, the kids, and everything else. But even then, he was like fixating on it, and she's like, "You did what you had to do," and then they just moved past it.
He does.
It's like
you're wanting him to have almost like a moral crisis.
It makes sense. It makes sense for his character to have that. In my mind,
his Jiminy Cricket conscience was getting ass pushed by a ramp, so I mean he was out cold.
Yeah,
so it wasn't much of a.
Yeah, but I don't think it has to be like an exterior force. Internally, he should be battling within himself for that's the storyline. Him battling within himself for the good and the bad.
True, but there were other things going on too.
Yeah,
like the ship exploding.
Like the ship is breaking up in half.
The ship could break up, but they never go back to it. Is what I'm saying. So like. You don't have to, and I don't think this is the story. Like Star Wars isn't the place where they're going to go through like a soul-searching event, even though that's what they're telling you is happening. It would just be nice to see him battle with his inner demons a bit more.
Well, the thing too is that this is not the first time he's like killed on a major scale. Right? I mean, granted, it's Dooku, and it's like a Sith Lord that he should have let go, but
that's the one thing. The Jedi are fucking. They don't give a shit. They'll kill.
Right. Well, I was about to say, like he took care of all those sand people when he quote unquote rescued his mom.
I slaughtered them all.
Right. So that I can believe being like his, and I'm saying this like with air quotes, you can't see, but like his first kills. Mm-hmm. I can see that being more weighted than this one, but I do agree that like they do.
Disagree.
But I can get him being like desensitized to killing. But the moral quandary and doing something, maybe
I agree, should have been more fleshed out more. Yeah,
but it's just like you kind of want to like this should be his story, right? This is Anakin's story. The entire thing. Yes, it has tertiary characters, but it's his story. So give him a bit more inner monologue or inner fucking grief or something along those lines. Honestly, it's a nitpick because it's not. They don't do a terrible job of explaining what's happening with him. It's just very like surface level.
Yeah. And no, JP, what I was saying is that him killing the sand people, or rather the reason why he killed the sand people, had more emotional weight and bearing on him than killing Dooku.
No, I think it. I will say yes. He killed a bunch of people.
He killed kids.
Mm-hmm. He did. He killed a bunch of whatever sand people.
Yep.
He did that with ease.
It's because he's
correct.
He didn't look at them as people.
This is actually fighting against somebody with as much force ability who has more forces. I mean, he can almost do what Palpatine can do.
Yeah.
So he's fighting
on a lesser scale of Palpatine. Yeah.
And
but he didn't have a.
I understand. You're thinking grander scale. I'm thinking.
No, I'm thinking emotional connection.
The emotional connection.
I think
the emotional connection was his mother. I
Correct.
got that.
Right.
So I would side with Connor because him slaughtering a bunch of people because of the treatment the way they treated his mother, and also it being like kind of the first true evil act he does, is probably the thing that does mold him a lot more than him being directed by someone he trusts to kill someone else. He knows it's wrong. We all know he knows it's wrong, right?
But he has the devil whispering in his ear this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he does it anyway,
Right.
which is the scene is great. I loved when he cut his hands off and they show his face and it's like he just got the best blowjob of his life.
Neither will never make it.
The scene did also show real well how much stronger Anakin has gotten since Attack of the Clones as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point because it does showcase his actual prowess and how fucking disgusting deadly he is.
I kind of shrugged off him. He's like, I'm twice as more powerful than Noah. I'm like, how the fuck do you know? And I watch him like, well, all right. I'm going to just sit back down.
He's much powerful.
Yeah.
Clearly gotten stronger.
Yeah. By the way, real fast, Anakin crash landing the ship. Did anybody else say, man, I hope those people in the control tower are fine?
Did you notice that there's a scene that I harped on about where they bring in their ships to the fucking like at the very beginning, Obi-Wan and Anakin like land their ships within the big ship, and Obi-Wan just fucking flies out and does like 18 cartwheels and starts fighting. And Anakin just slowly unbuckles his belt.
That's bizarre.
And then
I explained it.
Later,
he's like, that's how arrogant.
Yeah,
He's like, I take my time. I'll get out when I get out.
No, so that happens, and literally 5 minutes later, Anakin's like jumping through a hole really fast without thinking, and he's like,
cartwheels are a speciality.
He basically says like, "Oh, you never take your time and think." Yet the last scene just fucking showed that he does. I'll have to say is one of the funniest fucking scenes in this show is like fucking Darth Sidious is supposed to be like this innocent chancellor, and they're like, we're gonna jump down this elevator shaft and we're gonna swing in with all like the strength of a gymnast.
Man, I got strong Looney Tune vibes from that thing.
Yeah, Palpatine is holding both their legs and it's like 14 cartwheels, lands on his feet. He's like, "Oh my, I don't know how we're doing this." It's like,
you know how he's doing it.
It's like no human being alive could perform that move. That man should be dead at the bottom of an elevator shaft.
Which, by the way, Obi-Wan was like unconscious for half of it, so dead weight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
apparently Anakin has the strength of the Hulk.
So the three attempt to escape. They get caught up with that whole thing.
We seem to have lost something. Right? Yes, half the ship is these fucking quipping sons of bitches. I wish they just crashed and exploded. It's like aim for the fucking bushes. Seeing it all over again.
But yeah,
too much confidence.
When he crash lands the ship, there's two things I liked. One was he takes out a control tower, which hope there wasn't anybody in there because they just killed a bunch of people crash landing the ship.
Everything's robots.
I did love the shot where the ship is coming right up to the camera and then you see like right into the cockpit. I thought that was really cool where like the ship's slowing to a stop and then it just happens to pan like right at the glass, like at the very end when it stops. I thought that was really cool.
This movie probably has some of the best cinematography of all of them. Well, the prequels, at least. It probably does have.
They also show pretty well in this scene in particular where Obi-Wan has a lot more faith in Anakin and more so Anakin's abilities as a pilot than he does in his own, because Anakin told him, I can't remember what he told him, but he told him keep that thing above this or something, and Obi-Wan just did it.
I feel like he's learned to trust in at least Anakin's abilities. If he doesn't necessarily, in this movie, he is very trusting in Anakin, more trusting than anybody else because he fucking lives his life with him.
I think Mace Windu just wants to fucking put him on a bunch of.
Did you call him Mace Windu?
Mace Windu. I think he wants to. I think he wants to put him on a fucking Jedi fighter with snakes.
Hold on.
Yeah, Mace
Wait a
Windu, the
minute.
guy that doesn't like it.
No, basement slide was the best. Call him base window.
I did not.
He did call it.
Whatever. His name is Mace. Well, he goes out one.
Just doing some window shopping.
Oh my god, that's the best. Base window.
Whatever. Mace Windu goes out the fucking window. Whatever. So
Oh my god.
He does.
He
He does go out the window.
I know he does.
I kind of wish there was some foreshadowing. It's like if we let him take power, then all our plans are gonna go out the window.
It just alludes to it constantly.
Or he's
These
always
windows are dirty. We really need to clean her.
What do you want to do with this? Just toss it?
Looks like Windows is
We've
restarting.
already got a
Oh man, but he gets launched out the window. And the window's blocking. Powering off sound.
What is he talking about?
Mace Windu going out the window.
Mace Windu. She said Mace
When Mace
Windu.
Windu gets thrown out the window.
Oh, we'll get to
the
that.
powering off of Windows while his body just flies in the background.
It's freaking great.
totally done.
I'll have
So,
a papaltini.
We'll get to that scene.
I barely passed the first scene. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Well, but
We're trying to.
Sorry.
So no, it's all right. So now we're to the point where Anakin has saved the fucking senator or the chancellor and all this shit, and it's his day with the politicians, and him and Anakin have I think it's probably one of the fewest interactions they have in this movie.
I don't know where you
Honest
are.
with you. It's one of the fewer interactions. The last interactions that they had
Who?
before Anakin and
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
They have
When-
one. They have one or two more interactions
I
before.
understand that, but it's one of the last ones. Their interaction in this movie
Yeah,
was
I'm
good.
agreeing with you.
Was good, but I don't think they had enough time together.
They
in this
didn't.
one.
You're right. They didn't have enough screen time really to showcase the healthy side of their relationship. Almost.
Almost not even in the last movie. They really keep them separated
Apart.
a lot in the second movie and this movie, which hurts. Like from like a lore standpoint, from where we know it goes, everyone can like buy into it. It's not really a detriment, but it could be so much better if they did showcase a lot of their relationship a bit more in the second movie more than this one for me.
I was about to say, I actually like the idea of keeping them away from each other
I do too.
a bit more in this one.
But they should have kept them closer together in the second one in order to build the bond. Like if you just watch the prequels, you never heard of what happens afterwards. You don't know anything about Star Wars. Then you would want the second one to be a bit more together.
What?
Just don't even fucking let me.
I can't with this guy.
I'm
Says
sorry,
you with the dark
but-
Jar Jar icon.
First of all, it was blue, so wrong.
I liked the scene you were just talking about in it.
Let's see.
I don't fucking know the one you were just talking about.
I wasn't talking about a scene.
Like the scene you were just talking about. What scene? I don't know.
So he lands on the planet, right? And then they have a
Yep.
conversation, and
Yep.
Obi-Wan's like, I gotta go do some other shit.
Yeah.
You go on and have sex with fucking Palpatine, but then he gets sidetracked, and
Oh no!
Padme.
The
Padme's
scene that
there.
we were just talking about was Anakin's going to basically be the poster boy of "I saved the Republic,"
Well, that's yes.
while Obi-Wan is going to give his report to the Jedi Council.
Well, you had to go give it to him. That's his job.
Yes.
I don't.
So Anakin gets sidetracked by Padme, and she's like, "Man,
Oh,
I know you've been away
Fredo."
for 3 years, but I'm pregnant." It's like, I don't know. All of a sudden, the Force just started pummeling me over and over and over again. For some reason, it sounded like Windows starting up.
Or yeah, Windows starting out.
I think you
What?
said that better than she did. So anyway, oh my god, that was great.
We were watching this and like, has this guy been away for a long time? Because I got questions. He was born by the Force.
I just went along with the story. Now, and they do kind of in Clone Wars, they do interact in Clone Wars, so they're
Yes.
together as the storyline goes on, I guess. So I can believe it, because this was a quick mission and they were already on Coruscant.
Yeah, that's what it looked like
mission.
from space. It looked like the planet they were about was Coruscant. So
It was. They confirmed that it is
Yeah.
Coruscant they crash land on. So build
Yeah.
the Jedi Council. But yeah, so he sees Padme, and
I kind of hate what they do with Padme in this movie because they just make her just a pregnant bitch. Like she's
Not
just like
just
all
that,
her
but
career
it's
aspirations are
pregnancy.
gone.
pretty much.
oh,
You guys
what
keep
is
going. I'll
it,
be right back.
magically, like 8 months pregnant all of a sudden.
Well, they
I
had
don't know how pregnant she is, but the fact that she like completely dipped out of any of her responsibilities for the last two movies is wild to me.
Well, she appointed. That actually makes sense. She had already appointed Jar Jar Binks as the standing representative in the Senate.
That makes sense to you.
Yes, it does. So because she's now
I'm gonna step
pregnant,
away. Let's do this
she
return.
would have to step away for the pregnancy, and she also said that she wanted to have the kids on Naboo, so she abdicated her seat to Jar Jar. Why you would ever give him the Senate seat? God help us all.
I feel like they knew this is what we want to do with her character, but they didn't allow her character to be anything else, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like she found her character and the actress for her kind of found their groove in the second movie, and then it's like, no. And we need
And
this.
Tim, you're backwards. She gave the seat to Jar Jar in the last movie temporarily.
Yes.
In the new one,
Yeah.
the seat ends up going to Senator Organa.
Oh, I thought he was on Alderaan.
All I know is that Jar Jar is making decisions at some point in this movie somehow.
No.
Not in this movie.
This
Okay,
doesn't
He's not
then
in
I
this
got all
movie
my
at all.
I got all my answers mixed up. Okay, that works for me.
He wasn't in this movie at all.
He was in the last
He
movie.
was in the.
Oh my god!
Oh, they finally figured out how to kill him off.
No.
Oh yeah! Oh shit! Maybe I'm with you, Tim, because I'm thinking the scene
No,
where
basically,
Palpatine
they
like
did not kill him off. He was in the final scene during
He
the
was in the scene.
no,
when-
but I thought the
Padme's
scene where
funeral procession. He was
thought
in
the
that
scene-
scene.
I thought the scene where Palpatine like persuades him to go with him on like some decision. I thought that was in this movie.
No,
No,
that was
that's
in
when Attack of the Clones. That was in
All
Attack
right,
of the
fair
Clones.
enough. Fair enough.
grant him the
Emergency powers.
emergency
Yeah.
powers as Supreme Chancellor.
This
So
movie-
where do you guys stand on Padme and what they do with her in this movie?
I agree with you.
They almost stereotyped her character.
What do you mean?
I can see. No, I agree with what he's saying.
No.
back home
But
and have
I'm
kids.
asking. I don't. I'm not. I guess I'm
Where
not seeing it.
just pregnancy takes over her entire life, and that's all she's there for.
Pretty much, yes.
I mean, per storyline, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's heavily included in Anakin's storyline, but any other storyline or any other use she might have had is just gone.
So
And
Yeah.
it kind of sucks.
Yeah, she becomes a primary, secondary character,
she
primary
essentially.
character to
Okay.
Anakin's storyline.
Okay, so
Hold
the reason
on,
I think
hold
it
on.
sucked.
Oh my god! Hold on. So I think she was a primary in this one, but was actually like a secondary character. Like they tried making her a primary character, when she's really not. It's hard to explain.
I just
Yeah,
feel like
no.
if they're gonna lean into the Palpatine storyline and she had a lot to do with that storyline. It's kind of a disservice to not include her in it because she has like one line later on where she's like, "Oh, this is where like democracy ends." Whatever the fuck. She said something about
this
like
is how
this is
democracy
where
ends and with applause.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's there for what's happening, but there's no like accountability. It seems like nobody in this movie fucking has accountability. There's no accountability for like being part of his uprising and like second guessing. I get like you can only have so much happen in a movie, but it does really feel for her like she's just there to be like, I'm pregnant, Annie.
Yeah. She has a priority to Anakin's storyline, but that's it. She's no longer central to the overarching storyline, basically.
Yeah.
The only thing
While
that the
in
only
Attack
thing,
of the Clones
the only
and
thing, the only
The
thing,
Phantom Menace,
oh my God.
He was talking before.
she
you,
was
so don't stop.
central to the entire storylines.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
Now-
why it feels like a missed opportunity here.
I understand, but really the only thing that she is there for now is she's carrying Luke and Leia. That's all.
Yes, I realize that.
Yeah, but you should also want to feel something for her like demise, which doesn't happen.
It's true.
But-
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you that's the reason that they did her character the way they did. Really, if you, like I said, lower ways, you look at it, and that's just the way she was. She just.
So my overall critique of these movies, and when I critique and I don't like the writing that much, is because there's no nuance. It's very much like this is the character, this is what we're doing with them. Like you could have had a couple scenes of her like not liking the idea of doing something in the political sphere, and it wouldn't even take that much time. Some of the action scenes in this movie, and we'll get to them, run a bit long, and you don't need that much time. There's where you kind of like grow some of the other characters. I'm sure there's a lot of people that kind of liked her character or were interested enough to see what would happen, and they really make her one note, which is unfortunate. But whatever.
I get you.
That being said, this movie has some of the greatest one-liners out of the entire series.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean,
Do it.
Do it is one of them.
Hello?
So we're getting to a really important part. Don't fuck around right now.
Okay.
Anakin is unwilling to take his master's advice. This is when.
We're like half an hour into this.
Oh, Anakin is unwilling to take the master's advice to not develop strong attachments, lest greed lead him to the dark side of the Force. So, again,
And the reason I
he's
hate
not
the Jedi.
listening. He's not listening to his master, which is spiraling him down even further.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the
And this-
Jedi.
This is where he becomes that
Selfish,
selfish
jealous, arrogant
um,
asshole.
So, following the meeting, Palpatine meets with Anakin and requests to be the Chancellor's personal representative. So, they haven't told the story yet, have they? Oh, no, they haven't. So, Palpatine...
Plagueis? No.
I just had to get my...
He had to get his.
No, they
bearings.
haven't told that story yet.
They haven't told the story yet. So...
No, they're playing seesaw with Anakin right now between him and the Jedi. Him
Right.
and the Jedi.
Yeah.
Him and the Jedi.
Right,
yeah.
but he wants Anakin to be, and I'm sure a lot of people have a question: is how in the fuck can they put him on the council when it says you have to be a master? So that being said, if you've heard to a lot of Master Skywalker shit going around in the movie, if you weren't paying attention, but he became. Doku. I keep going Doku. Palpatine wanted him to be
His representative.
his representative, which the Jedi are like, well, we fucking appoint our. However,
Yeah, he basically
now
wanted to be the liaison, yeah.
Well, he
Exactly.
basically gives fucking.
So, and me and Basement had a conversation while this was going, when this happened, and I had to. I think I explained it right. You'll see. Go ahead and discuss the scene that I'm talking about. We're up to that point.
You're talking
Well,
about
okay.
like he makes Anakin his Jedi Council personal representative
Yes.
to the council.
The
Yeah.
Yes.
Palpatine does.
So it's kind of they're it's kind of funny because they're basically playing a game of like spying on each other by using the same fucking person.
Well,
Yep.
he's a double agent, or he ends up being, right? Or they try to make him.
Yeah.
But the
Or
thing,
you're a triple agent.
the thing I like about this is that it's what in Anakin's mind, it's a game of give and take, where there's constant give from Palpatine's side, and there's constant take from the Jedi side. So he fully knows. He fully knows that what the Jedi are going to do. They don't trust Anakin, so they're going to include him, but they're not going to give him the rank of anything, right? He knows that they're going to. It's basically a trial for, because this is what JP was talking about that I didn't know. That they're basically, it's a trial. It's one of his trials to put him on the council and not give him that Jedi Knight.
Full rank.
The honor,
Full rank,
the honor
right?
of
Jedi
being
Master.
a master
Yes.
on the council.
Well, no,
So
Windu explains that later on.
Yes.
Yes, but I didn't.
Well, the
I
whole-
did. It did that. I didn't know at the moment. I just thought they didn't trust him, so that's why they were putting
No,
him on the
so-
council, but not giving it to him.
No.
But it was more a
kind of,
test
sort of
for
ish.
him. But this is where like Palpatine's genius comes in, because he knows he's going to be tested by the fucking Jedi Council, and he fully is like, you know what? I'm on your side. I'm your hype man. Go in there. I want you there. I want you to represent me. I'm going to put your name forward. He fully knows that the Jedi Council will like be like, oh, here's a crumb, and we're going to take everything else
Until-
back and treat you like shit. Where he's in the back like, yes, yes, yes,
Until
clapping his
Anakin-
hands.
As
Until
he's
Anakin's
jerking
plans go out
off,
the
he's
window.
going, do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
But
Do
so
it, do it, do
I
it,
like
do it.
this is really
Yes.
this is a really good way to build that conflict within himself, and they did a really good
Yep.
job. In my eyes, they did a really good job at pulling. It's like they're ripping Anakin. Anakin's being ripped apart piece by
Like any
piece.
double agent.
Yeah.
Because all of the forces in his life are making his decisions for him, where he still has like a strong point of view for his self-value. Because he's a guy that's like, I'm super talented, I'm really good at everything I do, and I'm mainly doing things for the greater good, but I don't align with the Jedi, and I don't align with the Sith. And everyone's just like,
I hate the Jedi after this movie,
Puppet
to be very
Master.
transparent with you. I hate the Jedi.
I feel like me personally would probably align more with them, but they are very Mormon.
It's hard to like them though because of how dogmatic they can be.
They're very Amish.
They're also hypocritical.
Yeah.
I feel like
They're hypocritical space Amish.
I heard electricity in this room. It's like
With that being said,
Skywalker, churn the butter.
This was a really
Churn the butter. Do it.
this was a really good scene. I liked it.
I
was-
did too.
Foreplay.
It showcased a lot of the differing powers grappling over Anakin's loyalty, basically.
The one thing I really liked about this scene when he goes to the Jedi Council and he's like, "You're doing this to me. You're doing this to me," and this is what I said the whole time. I'm like, man, you are getting the opportunity of a lifetime to be on a council, even if you're not given the thing. It's like the opportunity to listen in on the goings on for the higher ups, right? Like in any workforce that you're ever in, even if you're not given something, it's usually an entrance into a doorway to something bigger, and you have to kind of like take
He
your
can't
lumps.
see, but he can't see past that.
No, because
He can't
for
see
how
past
long has he been
like-
told that he is this fucking special fucking guy?
He's the chosen one.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that's something else. I kind of that's a big thing for me, and I know that Yoda and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu mention this, and they have a conversation about this a little later on. But I'll get to there when we get to there. What? What? What?
From the window,
I was
the skyscraper,
From the
40 miles
window!
away,
Fucking
from the
Christ.
window
God, no.
to the other side of the city.
Do it.
Let's go to that wall.
Anyway, Connor,
40
go ahead.
kilometers over there.
What?
Go ahead.
I have a feeling, and I kind of hate like the chosen one angle.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
In movies. You had the same problem with Harry Potter.
I have a problem with all the chosen one bullshit. I really do, and only because like Well, at least here they acknowledge that hey, the prophecy is there's a chosen one that will bring balance to the Force, ... and destroy all the Sith. And they're like, that's not what everyone's been saying the entire time.
You know,
It's genocide.
I just realized something. Mortal Kombat, Star Wars,
And Harry Potter.
Harry Potter,
Uh,
they're all chosen ones.
yeah.
And earlier in this, fucking Anakin Skywalker did a fatality to fucking Dooku.
I know, right?
As soon as his body hit the floor, too.
Fatality.
But no, so
Fatality.
he becomes angry.
Prophecy.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, sorry. No, sorry, go ahead.
He was angered by the decision of the council.
Mhm.
I do like the inner sit down, Skywalker.
Take a seat, young Skywalker, or I'll bust a
Fucking-
cap in your ass.
They
Fucking
actually are kind of
Motherfucker.
lenient with him because at the beginning they were like, "Fuck this guy, he's too old to be taught. We don't want to teach him." And he's like, "Do it. We have to do it. We have to do it."
We want to do it. We
And
want
now
to
he's
Oh,
proving,
God.
them right at every turn with the
I
his
like
behavior.
that.
Yep.
do
Following
it. Do it.
Fuck you.
Following a council meeting wherein it is decided that Yoda he's going to go to Kashyyyk because the clones not the clones, the
Because we have to
droid
include
army is
Chewbacca.
coming.
The
droid
separatists.
army is
attacking Kashyyyk. The
Yep.
Wookiees.
And
have
they're
to
going to
include
fight
Chewbacca.
against the separatists. Anakin is concerned when Obi-Wan tells him off the record that the council wants him to spy on the Chancellor. Suspicious of his actions, Anakin appears to accept the request but grows further delusioned by the council asking him to spy on someone he trusts.
And considers a friend.
This is actually
I mean-
a pretty long scene. Like,
JP, we were talking at this point. I'm like, fucking Anakin's got a fucking bun in the oven. He's like, I was away for 2 years. I came back. My fucking girlfriend's pregnant. And then you're asking me to be 18 times double agent?
Jerry.
Right.
Jerry.
This is part of the whole this kid, man. They really retch at the fucking reason. And now
They all
people-
caused
the-
him to be what he became.
The gravity of what he becomes is
The Force is strong with this one.
yes.
Okay, and am I the only one who's like, why all of a sudden are we just tossing Kashyyyk in there?
Why not?
You know why?
Fan fodder.
We need to see Chewbacca.
Pretty much that's why they did it. I'm
Well, then why the fuck are
convinced that
you
they're just
asking?
like,
No, I know. You knew they were gonna do this. People were clamoring for it. They said, "Well,
Yeah.
where are some of these characters?" So that because you got to remember, this is a prequel.
Them
I
boys-
wanted,
know,
to see
them boys
but-
can fight.
I wanted to see a 5-year-old Han Solo shooting first.
yeah.
Oh God, you're gonna open up that can of worms when we get to New Hope, aren't you? Kashyyyk was
That's
cool.
the next.
Actually,
That's the next movie, by the way.
I know.
Kashyyyk didn't really make sense later on, but I
Where
do
does that
feel
fall
like
in the
it's...
timeline?
It's right after
hang on,
episode
mine
3.
makes
It
sense.
did. Kashyyyk didn't have
Right
any like,
after
weight
what?
to it other than like, cool, Wookiees. That's neat. I'll tell you right now, those
This
Wookiees
one.
are fucking
Okay, that
fight.
worked.
Yeah, Wookiees are
James
those
Sandberg,
fucking
too.
crossbows that are stronger than anything else in the universe.
Well, those things will put them. Oh, those things are strong in the Star Wars universe, actually.
So at this point, Obi-Wan has
Oh,
caught
God.
up with Grievous, right?
It's kind of they kind of coincide with each other now. They're
Yeah,
telling like
so-
they're in like 4 different places at one fucking time.
Which
Yeah.
actually, for the most part, really works for this movie.
Might as well just-
Yeah, it does. I agree.
Well, I had to
Hold
wrap
on.
shit up
Heather-
quick, so
Go ahead, Heather.
This is where when Yoda leaves to go to Kashyyyk, Obi-Wan leaves to try and find Grievous.
yep, that's right. Okay.
It's
And we have the meme
it's
fodder.
all
It's
of,
all connected into one.
everything
big
is
thing.
happening all at once. So they're in like 4 different places at
Can I
one
just-
time.
Why did
JP,
they
can you
really
just do
want
the
to
hand
find?
motion again for me?
Why did
Not
they want to
the
find
Sapphire.
Grievous again? What was the reason? Because he
So
was attacking them or something?
they said that because Dooku had fallen, that really the only person who's in control of the droid army, or at least that's what they are exposing or
The
expositing,
Separatist army, yeah.
is Grievous. That Grievous is basically the head honcho, and that their concept, or at least the Jedi Council said, if they eliminate Grievous, the Separatists will. The Separatists will fall. Which
I don't realize something.
That doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, it's a little.
Absolutely does. It just gives more credence to bring Anakin that much farther to the fucking dark side. That way, there's no turning back for him.
Not just that, but I just realized something.
That's the only justification they give.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the only justification they give for it.
The tip that the Jedi Council got that Grievous was on the planet, I can't remember the planet's name, or system. I'm not going to try to remember it, regardless. Came from Palpatine, if I remember correctly. Palpatine's removing all the positive influences on Anakin to be able to be the only real influence on him that Anakin trusts.
I could see. I wish they did a better job of telling the story where he basically, through his machinations, he made Grievous a big enough threat to force Obi-Wan to go there so he wouldn't be around Anakin. To me, that would be a great version of the storytelling. They don't really link up the dots very well at all. What it seems to me is like they cut off the head of the snake, and now, or you got rid of the fucking president, and now the general of the army is going to take up the helm.
Are you referring to the fact that that Sidious is planning this whole thing and strategize these particular moments up to this point?
Yes.
That's what they're alluding to in the.
Okay.
It took me this long to realize, and I've seen the movie like 18 times.
So I that was a big problem with me at in the last movie. Was I'm like, there's no fucking way he knew every little thing of every. Yeah, and yes, it's easy to be like, well, fucking the odds of that happening and just that everything falling into place. I know what you're thinking, and at that point, at certain point in times, I'm just like, fuck it, just roll with it. At this point, I'm not gonna waste my time thinking about this. You kind of have
to Star Wars as it is surface level. There's a lot of depth there, and if they had the time to do it, I think they could have told a much more cohesive storyline.
We got the story scene coming up also, JP. Story scene's coming up.
What?
The story scene.
Okay.
Story scene.
I'm just letting you guys. I know what's coming. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I was letting you guys talk. God damn. Relax.
I was letting them talk.
Sometimes you gotta wax poetic, baby.
Wax on, wax off.
Do it. Please don't delete that sound effect.
Anakin grows even more upset when Padme claims she feels the Republic is growing more corrupt.
Fuck you.
And asks him to talk to the Chancellor to help him. Now she's asking him fucking... It's coming at him from 3 fucking ways, man. This guy is like...
This guy is...
Why are these people doing this shit?
The definition of fucked in the Webster's dictionary, you just see fucking Hayden Christensen smiling.
At this point, I can see very happily why he decided to have his helmet taken off at episode 6.
You can see why he goes fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because Jesus Christ, man.
Mm-hmm.
So one evening, Anakin is called to Coruscant. Here it is. The Opera House for a private meeting with the Chancellor, who tells him that that Obi-Wan found General Grievous and the Separatist leaders are hiding in the planet of Utapau. So
okay, that's the name.
Utapau.
That's what.
Utapau.
Sounds like a place that has a lot of Filipino people.
Yep.
Utapau.
Or Indian.
Palpatine then requests Anakin to sit with him and confides in Anakin that he believes the Jedi want to overthrow him.
He's speaking
and
Tagalog.
take over the Republic. Anakin attempts to defend the Jedi, but finds himself conflicted.
One of the best scenes in the entire fucking movie, to be honest.
It is then.
Agreed.
It is then that Palpatine starts telling him the story of a Sith legend by the name of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who could use powers of the dark side to save people from dying.
Yep. Well, this goes back to Anakin's been getting okay, go.
This catches Anakin.
He did the Force.
This motherfucker over here.
Yeah.
This
Let him
catches
tell the story. I'll
Anakin's
let him tell the
attention.
story.
He will not speak.
This catches Anakin's attention. Palpatine warns Anakin that such powers cannot be wielded by a Jedi. Proceed.
Okay, this goes back. We didn't mention this. Anakin's been receiving visions of Padme in childbirth and apparently passing away and dying, and that's why he's so
The thing is,
desperate.
he
to
knows
find
she's gonna die. He does not know it's in childbirth. It's just her
Well,
face
yeah.
that he sees.
Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself, but
No, he hears the babies crying.
She-
Well,
does
that could be any
mention
babies.
childbirth.
He does.
but she's apparently dying. He is desperate
Why wouldn't
to
he
find
just
a way to
fucking
save her life. And
shove a lightsaber up her Gucci?
Works wonders for me. Anakin, put a lightsaber in her coochie. Do it.
So
and that gives Palpatine another avenue to influence and manipulate Anakin as well, and that's why Anakin is so receptive to the idea of Darth Plagueis the Wise and his ability to heal through the dark side of the Force.
Don't know how wise he is. He's dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, he.
that is part of the story. So
Yes, it is.
and
No,
the way
integral for his
this is
decision-making.
the point of the movie. This is one of my favorite. This is where the scene it's like holy fuck, it's really him. I can't wait to fucking they're building to that fucking moment.
Yep.
He becomes who he
That-
is.
Boom, boom, boom.
But by the way, also, does anybody else want to take like a shit ton of edibles and go see whatever fucking thing they were watching at that show?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a big goldfish jumping between water
Oh my
balls.
It was
Yo, like,
in
if
the,
I was
in the
tripping right now.
synopsis, it just
Oh, man,
says
like-
Giant
Incredible.
3D star whales.
whatever.
What?
Yeah, so I will say about this scene, this is like the casting for fucking Palpatine is so good because, and it's specifically for Star Wars, because Star Wars has its campy moments, right? He is great in the campy moments, but this moment he's also fucking incredible when he's telling him about this shit, and he's like, oh, well. And
So
he gives him these looks. There was a moment in this scene. Sorry, Connor. But there's a moment in this scene where I put it out as like, man, they go back and they look at Anakin and half of his face in the shadows, where he's like deciding basically in his mind what he's gonna do.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The cinematography in this movie is really good, better than the other ones. That's for sure. Holy
So and I'm not saying I hate his performance, but
Who's?
Hayden Christensen has moments in this more so in the last movie, but
Yes.
in this one there's like pocket moments where it's just like ugh, like it just the delivery wasn't quite exactly where I wanted to. This scene, not the case. Fucking nailed it in this one, and there's other scenes that he nails it too. But
I feel
this particular
like-
one, like wow.
I feel like in the last
He
movie he
wouldn't
was
that
like.
time.
I feel like in the last movie he was like 30% good and fucking 70%
70.
terrible. But in this, it's the opposite. It might even be more. I think he's like, I enjoy him for the majority of the movie. There's just a couple off scenes.
You
I don't know.
underestimate
I
my
give him like an 8 out
power.
of 10 in this movie.
Agreed.
Yep.
So.
And also JP when he's like, it's said that his apprentice murdered him in his sleep or whatever, and he gives this like small little smile.
Yeah, he's like, how ironic. I'm like,
Fucking-
It's me. I am his apprentice.
Now
It's
you're just
me.
waiting. So you're excited to see how the Emperor becomes. That's what out of this movie. I knew what Darth Vader became. I was looking to see what Palpatine would become.
But this is when you truly know how evil he is, because he says he killed his master, which was Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Mm-hmm.
or like Darth Plagueis the Jackass.
He's not that. So I think Palpatine is part of the canon because that's why they. So if you go that book, and this is why I want them to do a Sith version of these. They don't have to do movies.
I'll tell you, man, a live action
Sith story.
not even a Sith story. They could do a story for all of the Star Wars movies, like the prequels and the original trilogy, but show both sides completely.
Yes.
Yeah,
That'd be
that
great.
works.
But I think this, that'll tell you a lot about how he's not as old as you think he is. He's really not. He's
Well, do you know how
he's
long ago?
he's only as old as he is.
Do we know how old
I think he's
Darth Plagueis was?
60.
1 sec.
No, I don't. It tells you in the book, I think.
So, but we're on
Yeah.
the same page, right? Where Darth Plagueis was his master, right?
Yes.
My fucking
Yes. They basically has been more or less confirmed that Plagueis was Sidious's master.
Yes. It is confirmed.
See, if they do a live action TV show, they could do a prequel to the prequels.
By the way, you need to Google search what Plagueis looked like. He looked like a sperm.
Yeah, he did.
So Plagueis, that's a really cool book. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I actually did an audio book to that. I wanted to find out who Darth Plagueis was and how Sidious. He was just he killed his entire fucking family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm looking at there.
He looks like
Mm-hmm.
a. So do you remember?
Oh yeah. He had long head.
Let me see.
Long head syndrome.
So if you remember in episode 2, the banking clan, Darth Plagueis is one of those people,
Yeah.
and it is confirmed.
Yes, yeah. I know the face. I've seen it before.
Yep.
So
In my dreams.
that's
Oh, please. I used to sit in Barnes Nobles and just read Star Wars books until they threw me out.
right.
I used to sit in Barnes Nobles and jack off.
No, they do have
I'll
a
just tell you how
they
much
do
of
have
Star
a
Wars
porno
that I was.
section. They do have a porno section. Anyway, so
God, we're going
following,
down this rabbit hole.
hold on. So they
Oh, the rabbit holes we could go down.
no, we're not going to go down a fucking rabbit hole.
Barnes
So
and Nobles.
it is.
Do it.
He told him
Do
about
it.
the Sith legend. Following the news of whereabouts of Grievous. Did I go over this? No, I did not. Because this is kind of this is one of the.
Yeah.
General Kenobi.
This is the last scene that Obi-Wan and Anakin
Anakin
are.
have.
Who are there? Following the news of Grievous's whereabouts, the Council decides to send Obi-Wan to take on Grievous. Even though Anakin, in that meeting, said the General or Chancellor Palpatine has requested that I do it. And again, Mace Windu's like, listen, motherfucker, we say who we send. So
We
He
said
knew
Obi-Wan,
all
not you.
along. He knew all along that they wouldn't fucking respect what he was doing.
no.
Yeah,
Genius.
he knew that, and he knew that that would
He-
just take another pot.
Like as a character, Palpatine's luck is 100,
Well, it's
Yes.
it's a combination of that, and I
and
also
his
think
intelligence is like 20. The
Well,
guy's fucking luck is insane.
his luck's definitely up there. But I do think that in some level, Palpatine's playing chess while everyone's playing checkers. Not
That
everybody.
is
but
correct.
most
Oh yeah,
people.
the Jedi
Oh,
are
that's
definitely playing their
Clearly
fucking.
obvious.
The Jedi are playing checkers for sure.
Yep.
I have a weird theory that like Yoda caught on a little bit sooner than everybody else, but we'll get there.
Yoda knew,
Yoda knew.
and he knew
Yeah.
enough that he couldn't trust Anakin. He was the one that was like, nope, not on board with this.
So
fucking
the
bitch.
story is the story that I'm going to give you. You can go. I think
I hate
Yoda.
sand.
Yoda just said we can't interfere. We have to let things happen as they are.
He's so spiritual.
That's what I think. I don't.
I'm
He looks
telling
like
you,
a
now
spider
anyway.
monkey half the time.
So
Yoda would
anyway-
get mad bitches.
Which makes
Yeah,
him
he would.
not such a good Jedi. But anyway,
The last line that they
He
have
wouldn't-
is
he wouldn't
goodbye.
bang
oh my God,
So Obi-Wan takes out Grievous.
No, well, we're not. I'm not that far yet.
Okay.
So
Where we are.
I'm right here because he didn't let me finish. So
Never
following-
will.
Anakin is at first upset, but after some time to
Edging.
reflect. Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking beat everybody.
I did not do that.
Shut up! He sees Obi-Wan off and apologizes for his frustrations of late. Obi-Wan confides in his friend that he feels that Skywalker will eventually become a master. He just needs to be patient.
Do it.
So let's
Not
keep
his
in mind that
strong suit.
Obi-Wan is now on the Jedi Council. So he is
He's a master.
he's almost a grandmaster.
Mhm.
So he because Yoda's the only grandmaster.
Yeah. There only been I
Like
saw a video
Yoda
recently.
is actually he's been a Jedi longer than everybody else. He knows
He
more.
lives forever. This guy's a cheat code.
He dies at 896, I think it is. So anyway,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
that he needs to just be patient. He's gonna become a Jedi, and like I said, I think they're just doing trials with him. That's all. They're just seeing if he has what it takes.
Well, they don't trust him. Even if it's not like explicitly said that they're doing trials, they've never trusted him. But as a person, for Anakin, when you think that he knows they don't trust him, or at least he should. Like he's basically been like, I feel like he's been put through the thought I get is he's been put through trials since he was originally shown to them. And it's always like, I have to prove myself, I have to prove myself, I have to prove myself, and it's like, eventually...
They haven't trusted him since he was 9.
Yeah.
The only
Maybe I'll
person
just fucking be bad. Fuck it.
The only person on the Jedi Council who has ever completely trusted Anakin was, and
Obi-Wan.
always has been, Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't know if that guy who has a fucking cancerous dickhead, he might have trusted him. He hardly ever speaks.
Plo Koon? Plo Koon?
No, I don't know. Either way, I don't think that's what he's talking about.
You have to watch the Clone Wars more.
I mean, the Jedi Council is 2 people, for the most part.
Nah,
It
it's
is
actually
that
like
way.
7 or 8.
Yeah, but
There's only 2
in the
that
movies...
There's only 2 that have the final say so. That's what
Windu-
Basement's saying.
Mace Windu and Yoda.
Yes. Moving
Yeah.
on. Obi-Wan eventually engages General Grievous, and Anakin is sent by the Council to tell the news to Palpatine. So we're to the point where they are telling.
Hello there.
They are telling. We'll get into the fight with and which is we might as well with Obi-Wan and Grievous. What do you want to talk about there?
Hello there.
Hello there.
You don't want to talk about
Do
it?
It actually was real. I liked how well they did the fight. They went from lightsabers to basically a chase scene to martial arts where you have your Obi-Wan fist fighting with a droid, basically. I know he's a cyborg.
I like the fight with Obi-Wan and Grievous. However, and maybe this is just me, the very beginning when he has the fucking 4 lightsabers, did anybody else think that there was no fucking way Obi-Wan should have won that?
Yes.
Like the way he's spinning.
The thing is, he has the Force, and he does not.
But hold on,
He does not.
he does not. Oh, hi, Mark.
No,
No, I just felt like the way he was spinning these two, he's spinning 2 lightsabers in a
4.
complete the defensive stance. So I just don't see how the fuck realistically, and again, suspension of disbelief, but I just felt like there's no way Obi-Wan would have been able to disable
I just feel
him.
like the instincts of a Jedi are far more than AI could ever be, or even like a regular person. He does not have the Force, therefore he will fail if he's fighting hand-to-hand combat.
Not just that, but
that makes
don't
sense, but
do
they
it
didn't
very
make
well
that
in the
very
movie.
clear in this fight.
I agree with that.
they don't do it very well in the movies. But so Grievous was trained by
Dooku.
was it Sidious? JP, was it Sidious or was it Dooku?
He says
Yeah,
Dooku.
Dooku.
He wasn't trained by
I
anybody.
couldn't
I think it
remember
was
which
Yeah, he
one.
was.
Trained by
Stop.
Dooku.
Stop.
No,
Basement.
he did say he
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 said
did
it,
say
yeah.
he was trained in the Jedi arts of lightsaber fighting
Right,
by
right.
Dooku.
Nope.
Not the Force.
Yeah, and then he proceeds to fight in a completely different style than Duke,
Yeah,
which
Yes.
makes entire
because
sense.
essentially, like the Jedi, there's 7 different forms, and I'm not going to
Yes.
go into all of them.
Jesus.
Which one is
They can,
helicopter?
they're just
Yeah,
like,
there are.
God
Windmill.
damn it, they're like just like kung fu moves.
Yeah,
That's all.
but
I
then
feel
there's
like anytime. Sorry, go ahead.
also it's explained better in the Clone Wars, actually. But
It is.
Grievous has learned from fighting other Jedi also their styles of combat as well.
Right. I'm just saying is that like fucking the windmill attack that he was using, I just felt like it was a little weird. But Basement's point makes sense where like he's being trained as an actual Jedi would be better than just
Yes.
Grievous going like.
Well, I feel like the one thing that the Jedi's have, and they don't explain it well, is like the Jedi reflex to fighting and how like they perceive things. The one thing I don't like is that they have kind of shown that he's beaten Jedi in the past, and he is ass. Like he is terrible against Obi-Wan. Like
And then-
he gets fucking
That's
bodied
just
super
like-
fast.
Well, that's just trying to explain. I'm sorry. Go ahead. If you're gonna say it, I'll let you say
That
it.
is just displaying the power of Obi-Wan.
That's all I was.
Yeah.
gonna say.
And to Heather's point, they do he enters and he's like, "Hello there," and then he
That was fucking
obliterate a ton of
They
them
don't-
with a
So
air
that
conditioner or
is an
something.
iconic line, and that again, those one-liners. That is one that it's a meme. It's a
Yep.
sound on here. Well, hello there. He's just
Hello
so fucking good.
Yeah,
Ewan
I-
McGregor. Ewan McGregor did a really good job.
This is like the big dick moment for Obi-Wan.
Well, not just
I
that,
have-
but
Yeah.
Well,
Think-
so he is. With Anakin, and I do want to say this. This is kind of building to that fight. We'll get there, but go ahead.
well, they had already established how much Anakin has improved since Attack of the Clones with his victory over Count Dooku.
Yeah.
This
but
one established how much stronger. This battle also establishes how much stronger Obi-Wan has gotten since then, with him beating General Grievous. Also, so it gives you power scaling. Also,
Obi-Wan isn't even trying here.
The thing is, they
But
I
are
realize
building
that,
up
but I'm
like
saying
that. They're
it
building up
gives
that
you
pay-per-view
power
moment.
scaling for them.
They're building up that pay-per-view moment. I do feel it's the problem with the Obi-Wan versus Grievous is everything we know about Grievous is told and none of it's shown,
Agreed.
which is
That's
like
why you
we've
need to watch
seen
Clone Wars,
Dooku-
because it's shown there.
Clone
Yeah,
Wars.
but we've
They
seen
don't really.
Dooku-
He really isn't in it that much, though. I mean, he's in it every once in a while. He's not
We've
always
seen
in it.
Dooku dominate in the fight beforehand, so we have like a basis. Where Grievous is more, I've taken these off of Jedi's, I've killed. Okay, cool. And then he proceeds to become a fucking windmill, and at that point, yeah, whatever. And also, like the fight it's mixed between like a action set piece where it's chasing a guy, fighting him, chasing a guy, fighting him. It just doesn't hit as like I feel much more confident in Anakin than I do Obi-Wan, and I think it's purposeful for them doing that. But Grievous, in some ways, got done a bit dirty in this movie.
He did, but he was just he
Yeah.
wasn't. He was just a side piece. He really
And they even
wasn't.
had another good line though, where right after Obi-Wan shoots Grievous in the heart
Yeah,
with the blast,
when he
he's like,
kills him.
so
Yeah.
uncivilized.
So uncivilized, and he was looking at the weapon. He wasn't looking.
I feel
at
like
Grievous.
I feel like they almost wanted to make like another Boba Fett with Grievous,
they
where it's like
could.
there's so much intrigue, yet there's no explanation.
He is. I think he is, and Star Wars does that with every movie. I've noticed.
It's a really good thing. I think it's one of the best things they do.
To show what character, it's like, well, we need to know more about this motherfucker. I mean, he's dead now. Boba Fett's a different story, but the lead up to his character, yeah, I think they could do something. I think they should do something.
I liked it. Yeah.
And there's a story to be told there.
Because he is
Fun action scene.
like
I hated the lizard.
all of those things that lead to the. You have to, even these like Grievous, you have to like. These are the side stories everybody wants. They don't give a fuck about Rey. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Well, I
real
mean, the
stuff-
main characters,
Oh,
the thing that
please.
sells Star Wars for the most part are the side characters and the intrigue in them. If it was just about Luke versus Vader, people wouldn't care as much. But then you have Han Solo, you have Princess Leia, you have Chewbacca, you have fucking Lando. You have all these side characters that flesh out the universe.
Oh please! I wish to God they will do something with Mara Jade.
Okay, well
I don't know who that is.
that's the expanded universe, so I don't
That-
think that'll
we-
ever happen.
JP and I know what that is, and
So in the
we-
expanded universe, and we'll get to it. I'm not. Gonna
yeah, we'll get to that at another
So in the expanded
somewhere down the
universe,
line.
it's not the same as canon. They don't include it
Yeah,
in Star Wars.
which I hate.
Oh, I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's the
actually, I
rabbit
like
hole
that
that'll-
rabbit hole than the
power.
rabbit hole they went down with 7, 8, 9. But Anakin then returns to the Jedi Temple only to find Obi-Wan has killed Grievous and Mace Windu. Oh! I'm sorry, I jumped over a completely, like, the most important scene. It is then that Palpatine starts... Nope, I've already read that. Following news of Grievous, blah, blah, blah. Upon reaching Palpatine's office, the Chancellor reveals to Anakin that he is a Sith Lord. And the way he does it is so good in this scene with Palpatine. This is what makes Palpatine, you motherfucker.
So I
And you
have
can
one.
still say you motherfucker because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
Yep.
I have a question here, and this is something that I have struggled with when it comes to, and this goes back to the whole like luck and him playing chess, right? And I'm asking this as a genuine question because I don't know, but I have some inklings or indications. Do you think, or do we know / believe that Palpatine's goal was to obviously turn Anakin to the dark side, regardless of whether or not he would live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring that up as a point of contention is because his behavior when we get to his fight with Windu seems to go against that. But then when he does this, what he's doing right now, seems to indicate like, well, it doesn't matter if I live or die or not. Anakin's going to get pushed to the dark side because what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I
It's
just
a
feel like
whole
I was a
thing.
little conflicted here.
It all goes back to the rule of 2, and right now, all Sidious knows is he's the last Sith.
No, he wants to be the only Sith, but there's only reason. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
He doesn't know that Darth Maul is still alive.
At this point?
At this point.
You are correct.
Yes.
Yeah, you're correct.
I would also say that
you know what I mean, though? Like,
it has nothing to do with. He's stronger than Anakin.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also
So if
like.
Anakin doesn't accept it, he's gonna fucking just kill him.
But see, that's the thing. When we get to that scene with Windu, and when he does that ultimate power, he doesn't have that full unlocked potential until Anakin switches because they are connected through the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
that just it was very polarizing for me because I'm like, well, wait a minute, he's clearly doing this because at least the tone I got from this scene was he's doing it and telling Anakin because it's like, well, fuck it, flip the table, let's see what happens because I don't care if I live or die or not. But then with Windu, it's almost like he's selfish.
His plan is
the thing is, Palpatine is as strong pretty much as Yoda. He will defeat Anakin Skywalker. If it went wrong, he would win.
Just stay away from any open shafts.
Yeah. Open power conduits, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's not really rolling the dice, the 50-50 that you think. I think he's, like, 90% confident he will beat him if it doesn't work out.
All right, now I get what Basement's going with. Basically, what he's doing is, well, if he doesn't come to the dark side, I'll kill him and find another apprentice.
Yeah.
That's all he'll do.
I mean, he feels so strongly in this guy because of, like, hey, he's the
He's
true
willing
one,
to
he's
take
got all
the
this
chance,
fucking power. And he's planted the seeds there. So there's a lot of, like, things that he's done. I like, if it was, like, the way I look at it is, like, he is very confident that he's going to be able to turn Anakin Skywalker.
Okay. Yeah.
And if it goes sour, he is very confident he can kill him.
Yes.
So it's not really that much of a gamble.
Well, that's why I was a little confused. I just wanted to get some
and they
clarity on
do
that
a
one,
pretty
so.
good job of that with
No.
well, not even that.
Unlimited power.
Not even just that. So upon Anakin then returns to the Jedi Temple only to find out that Obi-Wan has killed Grievous, and Mace Windu
I do love that.
and
I
other
do
Jedi
love-
and other Jedi are going to make sure that the emergency powers of Chancellor is returned, and that the Senate, and this is why he did what he did. He said, which Anakin then reveals that he is a Sith Lord. The news changes Windu's plans, and he orders Anakin to wait in the council chambers until he and the others return. Do you want me to read the rest, or do you want me to stop?
Hold on,
Because
hold on.
I still do want to get what you guys thought about when he tells Anakin the only way that to save Padme is learn from me.
So the one thing I really like in this movie with Anakin is as soon as he hears he's a fucking Sith Lord, he takes his lightsaber out.
Because he knows he knows what he needs to do.
This is where we know. Well, we know he is still on
your
the
training has come to
side.
this.
Yeah, well, no, he's still on the side of the good, right? He's being swayed by the bad. This is where this movie actually I think is genius, because they don't just yeah, I'm with you 100%. They show the conflict in him when he takes his lightsaber, and then he goes and tells Mace Windu that this guy's a fucking demon.
Well, you know what? They
that,
could have done that. And that's where everybody, I can tell you there are some people like, oh my God, this is that moment. When I seen it, I'm like, y'all fucking stupid. There's still another hour to go, another hour and a half to go. This isn't even.
Yeah, we're at about the halfway point of the movie.
No, we're not. We're not. We're about an hour into it.
We're about like
an hour
2/3, right?
into it, I think. Huh?
Yeah, I think like this. I think this part's about closer to the 2/3.
this is like.
This scene is about an hour and 10, hour and 15.
Yeah, it's close to the halfway moment for the movie. A little bit more. It's not 2/3, but it's a little bit more than halfway. But I do like the fact that they show, and they show it. They don't tell us. They show that he's kind of conflicted. He's still going with the Jedi. Takes his lightsaber out. He doesn't answer fucking Palpatine. He goes tells Mace Windu this guy's a fucking Jedi
Lord.
Well, he does say to him, and I do like their interactions. You want to hurt me, don't you? And he's like, I would certainly like to. And that was really good interaction because he's like, I would certainly like to. He knows he can't do it. Anakin knows he can't beat him. So
I honestly don't think, and this is the genius of the fucking of Palpatine, because nobody really knows what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Correct.
Actually,
I do not think Anakin knows anything about him in terms of fighting or anything like that.
And that's
He just
why
knows that he's bad, but he has that like friendship with him where he's like, I will not strike you down, but I will get somebody else that doesn't like you to strike you down.
Right.
Dad?
So he goes back, he tells, and then Mace Windu jumps on there with, it was Kit Fisto, Plo Koon. No, not Plo Koon. I can't remember the other two.
I can't remember.
Dead
So
Jedi
either
number
way,
one, Dead
there's
Jedi
him.
number two.
There's Mace
It was
Windu. There's Mace Windu and the three other and they're Jedi Masters now. All of these guys. One's a second in charge, and the rest of them are all Jedi Masters and sit on the council.
One of them is Kit Fisto.
One of them is up dog.
So yeah, well,
One's Hammer 4.
So and so all of the Jedi Masters, like I said, if you want, go check out the Versus series. They introduce all of they do the
This is the same complaint I have about AEW. It's like, watch YouTube to find out what happens on AEW.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's just like a Versus series, and they just talk about the character itself, and then they do a fight. It's like not even.
If you want to do a deep dive into the characters, that's why.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's nothing you have to do, but there is story behind the characters.
One thing I did want to point out too is, and I'm not usually fans of these types of scenes because ADHD, but the scene where Windu's going to confront Palpatine with all those Jedis that you just mentioned that I've never heard of before. And it's the quiet scene with Padme and Anakin, and they're just going back and forth. Yeah. There's not a word between either one of them. They're just kind of staring off and thinking, but I love it because
take a while.
it's a bit long, but I appreciate it because a lot of shit just happened in a very short amount of time. And it's really like, I don't know about you guys, but like I could feel like the weight and how heavy and conflicted Anakin was.
I feel
in
that with
moment.
Anakin, but I don't feel like Padme would be just silent.
Oh no. She was just in the background, but I think she was another part of it. But like I felt it more with Anakin, like in terms of like
It's a scene.
what-
It's an emotional scene break.
yeah.
So what
well,
the-
not only
what
that,
the-
but just let's shit set in and really have it be heavy, which I really liked.
But here
And-
and there with the point of him showing him, you are now seeing the gravity of the situation at hand.
Right.
You know
Which
what would
is
have helped the
so
scene a lot?
Fucking good. Go ahead.
If he had to fucking like consider everything evil he did beforehand, this is why I was like harping on
This
fucking
is why he
him decapitating Dooku and being like in the moment I shouldn't have done it, but then later being like, who gives
No,
a
well,
shit?
you're
Like you
I-
build to
I
that
think-
story moment. You don't just skip steps. Star Wars skips all the fucking steps
I
in the
think
world.
he actually made his decision to save the Emperor no matter what when he jumps in that cruiser.
Yeah. Yeah,
Vader.
that's, well,
He's
you know what it
he's
is?
already said,
You know
I'm
what it
going
is?
to acknowledge you.
You know what it is? I don't think he accepted the idea of saving him, but he was like, I can't leave without knowing because I'm so divided that if I get there and they're slaughtering him without any trial or anything, like the Jedi are supposed to be fucking the good guys, and
They're
when he
supposed
gets
to be
there, Jesus
peacekeepers,
Christ.
Oh.
Yes, when he walks in and he sees. Now, keep in mind, he killed the other 3 Jedi Masters in like 4 seconds.
And
Only one of them got any
So wouldn't-
sort of.
wouldn't Anakin have to walk through the dead bodies to get there?
Yep.
They
And
were in a different
realized-
room.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're
No.
right. No, he's right.
Oh.
Yeah, because remember they like fucking Sidious's spiral.
That's so good.
Yeah, that was crazy. But
also
now you're seeing the
detaches-
full gravity of his power. He doesn't,
Yeah.
per storyline, he doesn't like using the sword.
Like it,
He'd rather use the force.
He's a force guy, but like
a
the
Force
funny
user.
part is, he dispatches 3 guys with like the most generic looking moves.
Yep.
And it's glaringly obvious because the rest of the movie is so good with the lightsaber fights. This part is like, oh god.
Yeah, this,
Not just
The
that,
fight
but-
this is
between him and Mace Windu was almost kind of a throwback to the first
to Obi-Wan and
Obi-Wan
Vader.
and Darth
Well.
Vader. The very
Well, the
first.
good thing is they showed
Oh,
that Mace
Death
Windu
Star,
is
yeah.
a superior like sword fighter,
right,
but
especially when
not
especially
superior in
when,
the Force.
especially when the Sith hits the fan.
Yes.
But
God, this guy.
JP will know what I'm talking about with this.
What? You gotta tell me what I'm talking about with what.
No, you will know what I'm talking about with this.
Well, then spit it out.
Palpatine's lightsaber is in direct contrast to the Jedi's lightsabers in general, where his is all gilded and gaudy and all these expensive materials, while Jedi lightsabers are very humble.
Did anybody else love the fact that he shot it out of his fucking sleeve? And he was wearing like
Like
this
the
pumped
Joker,
up
yeah.
shirt. It's like synthol muscles.
It's treason, then.
And he just yeah.
I am the Senate.
So he
Oh
shows
my
up.
God.
He
The
shows up
best fucking
as.
movie
So at this point, you see them emotional cut scenes. He jumps in the speeder, gets in that speeder, goes over there, and he sees them two just fucking having at it. Well, he comes in there, and now we're at the point where Palpatine cannot outduel Mace Windu in a
Honestly-
lightsaber fight.
honestly,
In a
I
lightsaber
feel-
fight.
So
One
I-
thing that I'm surprised with that is he didn't use Force Lightning right away.
I honestly feel to an extent, and I'm really going in on him being like fucking the smartest man alive, that he purposely ended
Lost.
up in his state so that he could show Anakin that they are the problem.
that the Jedi are trying to overthrow.
look at me, I'm
he
so
came
weak.
in at the wrong time in that fight, and so which is 100% right. And then again, they said Bring comes back. Mace Windu says we can't keep him alive. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. So again, now he's like, what the fuck are you people talking about?
So I think that the scene, and this is just me, I think that Palpatine was trying to say like, oh, look how like corrupt and terrible and evil the Jedi are. But I don't think Anakin really gave too much of a shit about that at that point, because then if you notice, he pivots, and I mean Anakin still tries to hold the tried and true value, but as you can tell at the very end of the whole back and forth, he doesn't give a shit. And then when he's like, I'm the only one that can help you save Padme or save her or whatever, and that's when like it clicks.
It's at
like,
that moment. So the what I do like is you're seeing the moment that it fucking happens. He becomes who he would become up until his death, which was pretty good in itself. Now he's like this, that, and he's like, no, when he says the Padme thing, he's like, fuck it. I've got to save her. Right. And he cuts off Mace Windu's hand with the lightsaber.
What is it with them cutting people's hands off?
Okay, I got a question, because I thought, at least, and I might be wrong, the Jedi can sense the Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he could sense Anakin coming.
They do explain that. So let me finish. They do explain that there is some Jedi that once they are in the middle of a lightsaber fight, I think it's just they're focused on that because they're.
But can Jedi sense other Force in general?
Yes.
So he just killed. Do you think? And this happens earlier, where Yoda is like, it's young Skywalker. He is conflicted. That happens in the second movie.
Now, keep in mind, at this point, it's revealed who he is, so he doesn't give a fuck anymore.
No, but before that happens,
I'm telling you, everything is focused on Anakin now with the Emperor.
So I am 100% convinced that he knows Anakin's there, and that's why he loses the lightsaber battle, and that's why he starts pleading for his life. And then you have the problem is Anakin comes in there, and from my understanding, he was asking for like a fair trial, and he's like, he's too powerful to live, which I don't know about you guys, but that is a fucking Sith trait. Just killing someone.
Mace Windu actually is a borderline.
That's why his lightsaber was purple.
He's dark.
He had dark and light within him.
He's dark. He's dark and light. So it's the perfect person to be like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
And then. Wait, hold on. God damn it. And then. Damn it, didn't play. God damn it. I'm trying to play the fucking Windows sound.
Unlimited power.
So he then hits him with the
Force
lightning, and that's the.
So my question to you.
He goes out the window.
So JP, we talked about this, right? And we came to the conclusion that he was ball sack all the time.
Yes.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Is he a human, or is he just a ball sack?
He's a Nabooan. He's a Nabooan.
What's that?
He's from Naboo.
He's from Naboo.
He's a Naborian.
What made him a
little
ball sack?
backstory, and this is why I would like them to tell the story of him, because he was in the book. Because his family was into politics.
I love how it's a galaxy far away and there's like 7 planets.
They were like one of the richest people on Naboo. His family was. So, but he got into politics and became that, and he was a Jedi.
So how did he become a ball sack?
So he becomes so ingrained in the Force.
Yeah,
it's explained that if you have dark side powers, your body deteriorates to a sense. But he's so powerful that he can slow that process, essentially.
Yeah.
But like,
So-
I mean, look at the rest of the dark side. Did they also deteriorate?
Well, I
So,
get what you're saying, basically.
so the rest of the dark side, as of right now, there's only one Sith, and it's
Which
Darth
is-
Sidious.
Yeah, but like, why is he a ball sack?
Because he's that powerful in the
Because
Force.
when you
Darth Plagueis the Wise was
when
not a
you
ball sack.
use the dark side
So,
of the Force,
I don't know how well we have to keep in mind.
Darth Plagueis was 115.
So Palpatine is actually at this point living beyond what he should be. That's why
Yeah.
he's becoming so deteriorated.
yeah,
That's why he's a ball sack. So how old are we saying he is here?
I
You know?
think he was like wasn't he like in his 80s or
Hold
something
on.
like that?
Okay, so then he's not that old. He's not a ball
But-
sack.
no. Part of it also is basement. When you use the dark side, there are certain physical
I just wish-
traits that manifest.
So I just wish it was consistent with dark
Yellow-
side users.
Yellowed pupils are one of those which Palpatine, especially, it's even more pronounced in the prequel trilogy just because of the technology is better.
What other dark side user got turned into a ball sack or turned physically in any way?
I don't know.
This is why I'm saying, like, if they're gonna say like, oh, he's so powerful and he's so proficient with the dark side, and that's why he turned into a ball sack. Where's all the other ball sacks?
Darth
Dave,
Plagueis was a ball sack. He was 115.
you're reading way too much into it.
Yeah,
Okay, you say that, yet
but if you look
every
at
time
the imagery
I
of-
ask another question, it's like, well, in the extended lore on page 52 of
No,
fucking book 12.
So get everything. That's the problem with the expanded. They didn't bring anything in with the expanded universe. In the
I
expanded
feel like they should have just
universe-
answered the question, why is he a ball sack? This is why people think that, like, the reflection of the lightsaber fucking lightning turned him into a ball sack.
No, he was always a ball sack.
yeah, he
He
was.
was born a ball sack?
No, he was born human. It's his old age and his
The reliance on the dark side of the Force.
So the dark side of the Force, as the more
Oh my God.
powerful you get,
The more ball sack you get.
yes, if that's they
Except
call
for
it.
everybody else.
No, I said 4 times now. Darth Plagueis was also a ball sack.
I did not hear it ever. He was a ball sack? You showed me a picture. He did not look like a ball sack.
My point is, I can't
Where's the
answer.
picture of
You know
Darth
what?
Plagueis as a ball sack?
Call fucking George Lucas. He might tell you. I don't.
God, no.
Well, I mean, I can't answer that question for you because they don't. This is why I have a problem at
With how
times
Disney is handling
with them
stuff.
just giving us the fucking light side of the fucking Force. The only thing we really fucking know is that there is two sides to everything. We
Yep.
know that there is a dark side and there is a light side. That's it.
The
But
way I
this
look at
the
him
only
turning
one
into a ball
to-
sack.
Push the light side of it.
The way I look at it is like we need to this is what I think. They're like, we need a transformation for the way he looks, so he looks evil. This is what we're going with.
But he,
I don't think it was like lore. There's no
even-
lore to it. It's just like
Yes.
ball sack.
There is there is a story behind it,
Yep,
but they
there
won't
is.
fucking tell it. That's my point.
They won't tell it because it doesn't sell to the 10 and 12-year-old audience.
It'll sell more than the last movies. I can tell you that.
It will.
But it won't appeal to 10 and 12-year-olds.
That's why I said live action version of Star Wars, where they go back into like his past, would be great.
Star Wars
Yeah,
needs to go
it would.
away from just the kids thing. I'm telling you.
I agree.
Well, the average Star Wars fan is probably 45 years old.
I can tell you, you are. I am 51. I seen that fucker in the when it first
See?
I
Just
just think
saying.
we tell I turn into a ball sack.
I don't know.
Anyway,
But that there
they didn't have-
is a backstory to it. They just won't tell it.
Yeah.
I think with the Disney they could.
oh,
do
Disney
everything
could.
else.
They don't want to.
Like, we'll
Instead
tell you
of
how they
telling-
got the
instead of
Death
giving me-
Star plans instead of how
instead
this
of-
guy became a ball sack.
Instead of giving me Tales of the fucking Jedi only, give me Tales of the Sith too. Fuck,
I don't.
man.
I honestly, I like it. It blows my mind that they don't want to go in that direction. Flesh out the universe for the things that people didn't see from the other side. The fact of the matter is, the Force is gray, so you can have a bunch of fucking dark side stories that are like leaning towards the negative, but not necessarily negative.
They do kind of go into this. They do kind of go into the Jedi and Sith lore in Clone Wars. They do the brother, the sister, and the father, which is pretty good. Pretty good episode. If you haven't seen it, it reveals.
I'm working my way towards it very slowly.
But
It takes time getting through it. Yeah.
so
Let's move forward. We got to move forward.
so now he's a Sith. He then goes up to the temple.
You go here.
Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?
The one thing that I liked once he said, he gave him instructions. I like how he lied to him like 4 times that entire time. I don't know how to save your wife's life, so got you on that one, motherfucker. And then, he goes, but together we can do it? Like, Jesus Christ. So now he's just beyond
Wake up at that
giving a
point like,
shit.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden. I mean, bin Laden.
Nailed it.
So, yeah. He's now a Jedi. He tells him to go to the Jedi Temple and kill all the younglings. All that good shit.
Go there, kill the kids. We'll talk later.
See, what happened to my profile picture?
The profile picture was like they needed to do something like that because let's remember, he does not.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
I'm just laughing of him killing all the younglings.
This shows how evil. This shows how evil he becomes.
The amount of
And how
respect,
far he's fallen.
the amount of respect I have for them doing this is like
You gotta also
insurmountable.
You gotta remember something. This movie was made before Disney took over Star Wars.
Yeah, but I mean, even like when this movie was made and the audience it was made for, I'm there, being like slow clapping. Please, God, make this happen, and it is incredible. Every minute of it is incredible. He shows up with his fucking hood on and say, "What should we do, Master Skywalker?"
By the way, I love the robot.
What we're gonna do.
I love the robot chicken sketch with this, where like Anakin's like, "I go to your happy place," and he's like pretending he's slaughtering sunflowers on Naboo.
Right.
I just love the fact that he just went ham on these kids.
It's telling you a story, and they didn't show anything. They didn't show anything, but the whole fact of
his
what
character.
happens.
His character doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm doing this, and I don't think he ever cared about kids. I think Anakin, even before he became fucking bad, he would kill kids. He did kill kids. We know.
Yeah,
he loved killing kids. One of his things was he loved killing kids. So this was like another Sunday for him.
This scene did show just how far he had fallen.
That's all they were. That's all they were.
You know what the funniest part is?
As we've established, is what they were going for with this scene.
Yep.
The funniest part is like he killed a bunch of kids for the Sand People, then he killed a bunch of Jedi kids, and then kids killed his wife.
Yep.
Retribution for the fucker.
The revenge of the kid.
Revenge of the Kith.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, I unfortunately must have to hop off early a little bit. I know we're still in the process.
What do you give this movie out of 10 right now? Tell me.
Honestly, this one's up there. I give it like an 8.5. There's a lot. There's a lot I like about this. There's a lot, even like the small little things.
They're called kids.
Nitpick. See my profile picture.
They're called half kids.
Well, now. But Good stuff. I'll go into a tangent later on at a different point in time about something like the Force Awakens. But other than that, great fights. The lightsaber fights with Obi-Wan and Anakin are one of my favorites again. Yoda and Palpatine, hilarious.
It was. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But we'll get there. But do it. But on that note, you guys have a good night. And I will talk to you tomorrow for No Bucks Given.
Yes, sir.
What's up, bitch?
Yes,
Peace out.
yes, sir. All right, so
Thank God, he's gone.
Finally got rid of him.
So once his while Anakin leads an attack on a temple, Palpatine reaches out to the clone commanders across the galaxy, executing Order 66. Order 66 is like an entire series about how. In fact, I think it's like a three-parter in Clone Wars. How they do the order, how they do it. So there's an explanation. I think it's shot into them when they were born, I guess. And
when they were created,
I'd have to go back.
Control chip was implanted in them.
Yes, I understand that. I think it happens.
I mean, didn't they feel like, oh, a mysterious Jedi created this huge army that we're just gonna use? You didn't think, like, after you found out this guy was fucking bad, that, well, I guess they didn't know as all.
Right.
I don't know. This is shown pretty well.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Order
I liked how they did it, at least.
The Order 66.
Yeah.
One of the most devastating kills of the Order 66 victims was Plo Koon.
Yes.
Is that the girl with the big breasts?
And if you go back and watch, and the reason I say this, if you go back and watch Clone Wars, and you'll get to it, he's in it a lot. He's in episode 2 a lot, and it was Filoni's favorite character. In fact, it's a character he created, and they had to kill it off. And then when he told that story at a Star Wars convention, everybody now is like says one of the most devastating. Once they found out the backstory, it's one of the most devastating. Assassinations of the whole thing.
The movie in some way. They had a lot of like.
Agreed.
If I added up the prequels like runtime, and I saw like probably a full hour and a half of wasted shit where you could have like done things for the future.
Mm-hmm.
It was all written. You could have done it, but they whatever.
Right.
I mean, in the end, it was effective in showing. I think the most effective scene, not from knowing everything that you guys were talking about, is the little kid Jedi that's protecting what's his tits?
Bail Organa.
Yeah, protecting Bail Organa from like escaping. That was an effective scene for me, outside of the fucking killing of the kids from Anakin.
Yeah, that scene actually did work well.
So the killing of the kids are never seen.
Yeah,
no,
it doesn't need to be seen. It's better not being seen. And
you
I'm not saying that because whatever.
You see him fighting with them. You see him fighting with him. He can't. I can't look anymore. So they did a really good job of that. So now he ends up. While Anakin leads an attack on the temple, Jedi.
Didn't Anakin turn around and all of a sudden have like yellow eyes?
Yes. So
yeah.
So the one of the signs that somebody's a Sith is they have yellow pupils. It's there's a lore. I'll find it and I'll read it to you. Or have you read it. It'll explain it.
Welcome to Star Wars.
It's like a deterioration.
Which works with the ball sack theory.
Yes.
Welcome to Star Wars, where you have to read 18 parts of lore just to understand.
I mean,
you don't have to understand it. It can be explained.
I actually love lore and shit. And if I'm interested in the topic, I'll look in the lore. I have no problem looking at Star Wars lore.
I love Star Wars lore. I could read it all day long.
So
I actually do sometimes I'm bored.
Once his dark deeds are finished, Anakin goes to Padme, claiming he saw Mace Windu attempt to kill Palpatine, and claiming that his allegiance now lies with the Chancellor. He tells Padme he must go to Mustafar and intends to end the war once and for all. Newt Gunray, and all those separatist worlds.
Or like cockroaches who seem to always survive.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
they actually
fucking-
turn
the
out they're
Chinese
not the
council.
bad guys. They're actually the good guys.
Well,
Yep.
they're not really. I feel like
They were
those
manipulated.
characters
They
were
were
always like in the middle somewhere.
They were manipulated. Some of them,
They-
all you had to do was give them money and they'll fucking do
Yeah,
whatever.
well, they were the Chinese
Yeah.
council.
Yes.
That works, yeah. We're all going to hell.
Senator Bail Organa sees the temple, happens by the temple attack, but it is turned away by clone troopers as he's about to leave. A young Jedi, and the young Jedi, I think, is one of the staff members' kids, attempting to fight them off before the troopers kill him. Escaping from the temple, Organa is concerned for the Jedi, and going aboard his ship, heads off into space to see if he can find others who have survived the purge. And the Jedi purge.
I like his character a lot.
And the
In
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yep, the Jedi purge. They need to do something with that too, because
Yeah, they should really.
Like I said, if it was a live action TV show, the amount of what's on the line in a live action TV show for the killing of all the Jedis would be incredible if you had time to flesh them out.
Yep. So it introduced new characters because we don't know all of them.
Yep.
Escaping the temple, he soon encounters Yoda and Obi-Wan, who manage to escape. Yoda claims a retreat signal is also being broadcast from the Jedi Temple, and Obi-Wan recommends they go back there and stop it to keep any other Jedi from return from being killed. That scene of them two kicking the shit out of the fucking clones at the Jedi Temple before they go in there is fucking
So
great.
good.
Fucking Yoda's doing his
I'm
flips
telling you,
and-
man.
Yoda was
is
Spider Monkey.
outside of the fact that Yoda's really good. Being fucking 2 feet tall is like a problem for like a human
Yeah.
or anybody that's taller to fight. He's gonna cut your legs off.
Right.
Yeah.
Upon the return of Coruscant, Bail Organa is requested to attend an emergency meeting of the Congress, which is where while the Yoda and Obi-Wan sneak off to the
Yoda.
temple, Bail meets
The
with Amidala
Yoda.
in the Senate, where the two hear Palpatine declare the Jedi Rebellion has been foiled after they attempted to overthrow the Senate, which is a fucking flat-out lie. Promising to wipe out every remaining Jedi, Palpatine then declares the Republic now reorganized into the First Galactic Empire, much to the horror of Padme and Bail, but to thunderous applause from those around them who believe the
Padme has lies.
So
This is
the
how
Emperor
dramatic
has
it is.
lied and has manipulated all of these senators and all of these worlds. They are now one.
Yep.
Donald Trump. I'm kidding.
Anyway.
Good old DT.
So him doing this, and he uses that scene. He uses that ball sack look. And
Yeah,
blames
he's like,
it on the
this is
Jedi.
what happened when like nobody questions this. It's like, why are you a ball
Well,
sack?
Well,
he
because
says
he
it. He
appears
says
to
it.
now be a feeble old man. This is what they
That
did to me.
is not a human, first of all.
But he makes himself out to look like a feeble old man now. This is what they did to me. They disfigured me.
I feel like
This is what they could do to you in your worlds and your people. That's how he turns.
I feel like in the same place that they're holding this shit, they just killed a bunch of kids and nobody
No,
talked about
see,
it.
this is a different place.
Yeah, this is the Senate,
This is the
not
Senate.
the Jedi Temple.
Okay. So a bunch of atrocities took place across the world and nobody cares. That sounds like real life.
Well, part of it also is, yes, actually, that's not like.
Well,
Life
okay.
imitating art, go fucking figure.
So all of the senators are already there on Coruscant.
Yes.
Yeah. I
But
love how
you
you,
know,
like, you
Bail
write-
That
Organa.
also,
Bail Organa is
and let us
requested.
attach the clone troopers
Mhm.
to the Jedi Temple. They could have easily locked it down and not let anyone in.
Well, he did explain again that they foiled the Jedi Forge which is what they were talking about, the Jedi taking over the rebellion. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Let me see. Upon their return to Coruscant, Bail is requested an emergency meeting. Did I read that whole thing?
Yes, you did. You're here.
Back at the temple, Obi-Wan and Yoda succeed in infiltrating the units, but the massacre of even the temple's younglings has Obi-Wan shaken. He said, "Who could have done this? By a lightsaber, it was not," says Yoda.
By a
I
blaster.
kind of. So I don't know how I stand on him understanding that it was fucking Anakin.
So, like,
Because it's
who
shown to
Yoda?
him.
Who Yoda?
No, Yoda is fine.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan is what I'm talking about.
Because he isn't that powerful in the Force.
No. I'm not saying like him understanding. He gets told that it was him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
They
like, I
also
can't
had,
believe it.
He can't believe it. So again, his feelings are, he's now conflicted, right?
Yep.
Because he doesn't believe that Anakin would.
So the thing for me is like, at this point, and it's just a me problem, to be honest, because everything is in the film. It's fine. It's just like I feel like, oh my god, I would have been fucking like floored from this shit. He takes it in stride, but it's because he is. Well, it doesn't necessarily take it in stride, but he is a Jedi, and his Jedi training kind of takes over,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes kind of like the way it's viewed for me was like kind of like a soulless response, but it makes sense because he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
I had to think about it
He's
for a while
able
because,
to-
like, sorry, go ahead.
He's able to compartmentalize it.
Yeah,
Almost.
his emotions and being like, though I can't believe it, I have to deal with it. I gotta take a pee. I'll be right back.
Yep. So back at the temple, I already read that. After taking care of the code, Obi-Wan finds security hologram footage and is shaken when he sees Anakin has committed these acts, pledging his fealty, which means his
Loyalty.
His loyalty to the dark side.
to Palpatine. Yoda claims they must destroy the Sith and goes off to fight Palpatine, leaving Obi-Wan to seek out Anakin. So if you're paying attention, the Jedi Purge, they kind of deal with it as Rebels goes along.
Yeah.
Order 66 is still in effect because not all the Jedi are dead. So that's the whole story of Darth Vader, which some of those in between stories are pretty fucking crazy. The following day, Obi-Wan goes to Padme, who is unwilling to believe that the claims that her husband has turned to the dark side and Palpatine is behind everything, including the war, or tell Obi-Wan what she knows
About where
he is. Obi-Wan also senses that Padme is pregnant, even though she's...
They do not do a very good job.
They do a very good job of that. But I don't think that's exactly... I don't think that he didn't know that she was pregnant. I think he sensed, because everything had fallen now, so now he can start sensing things, and he could sense at that moment, just for justification, because I know basically, like, how in the fuck did he know? He didn't up until that point, and then it popped in his head.
But he can sense the Force, right?
Yes.
Oh,
again, he was separated from the dark side basement again. But once Palpatine's when Palpatine's
not trying to block the senses of the Jedi.
Once Palpatine's plan is done and he has Vader on his side, he just
I don't need to hide anything anymore.
He doesn't need to fucking hide shit anymore. He can just let it all go.
I do feel like Palpatine had, I don't know if it's an ability or anything, but he had like kind of like this big spear over everybody there that like couldn't think clearly.
That's what
I'm gonna say.
That's where their justification.
Because they were like, the dark side is around us. Oh, I can sense it, but I can't pinpoint it.
But you don't know who it is or why.
So it's kind of like a jammer.
Yes.
Almost. Yeah, that works.
clouded the dark side is.
Yeah.
Yes. it is.
The following day, Obi-Wan goes, Padme, I already read that, but can only apologize for what he knows he must do concerning the baby's father.
Which he now he confirmed today.
Well, when he says
The one thing Star Wars will always suffer from is that like it stifles human emotions because of the type of characters they are. Like Jedi's and Sith, it's a control of your emotions where you don't get the dramatic emotional response because of what they are, which is where what kind of like I guess hurt the scene with him being like he even killed the younglings.
So I think I don't know.
No, it makes sense in this universe, and it kind of helps them for being like more kid friendly, where they're not going to be like torn apart from a bunch of kids being killed. But
Agreed.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Anakin has eliminated the Separatist leaders per Palpatine's orders. After reporting on these events to Palpatine, the Sith Lord tells his apprentice to have the Separatist droid units be shut down immediately. After her meeting with Obi-Wan, Padme heads to Mustafar, where she confronts Anakin. Telling of what Obi-Wan explained to her, Anakin claims Obi-Wan is lying, and that he is now powerful enough to not only protect her, but powerful enough that the two of them can rule the galaxy. See, he thinks he's so fucking powerful. He couldn't.
I kind of hate this in this movie.
Don't, but anyway.
I hate
I'll explain why. These words cause Padme to feel Anakin is too far gone, but as she desperately tries to make him reason, Anakin sees Obi-Wan aboard the ship and angrily assumes that she brought Kenobi to kill him. In a blind rage, Anakin attempts to choke his wife before she passes out. When Anakin claims those not with him are his enemy, he thinks he's so powerful he now rules the world, the galaxy. Obi-Wan reluctantly pulls out his lightsaber and the two begin a fierce duel. He starts believing what he's telling himself.
Yep.
He starts believing what he's saying. He thinks he's so fucking powerful that he doesn't have to fucking... He right now, he said, I can kill the Emperor, but he can't. He thinks he can, but he can't. He thinks he's so fucking strong.
There is one thing that I really don't like.
Go ahead.
And it's when he chokes Padme out.
But wouldn't you have choked her out? You wanted her choked
Well,
out.
I would have. I fucking choked her out day one. But in this scenario, his whole reason for turning to the dark side is her. And I can kind of get behind her being against it. And he's like, but I did this for you, bitch. Yeah. but like the idea, I don't know. I don't like the idea of choking her out.
He is so blinded by rage now.
He thinks everyone's against him.
He thinks
I still
because
I mean, you know what it is.
The whole thing is he sees Obi-Wan, so he is assuming now, because he's so blinded by rage, that Padme said, okay, if you promise to... He doesn't get that, though. She didn't know he was on that ship.
Nope,
you know
he's
what,
stuck
though?
on the ship and hidden a storage container or something.
So these movies kind of allude to him fighting back against Obi-Wan's fucking mentorship, right? And it's like, it's Obi-Wan, he wants it. He does say this. I think it's in this movie where he's like, it's Obi-Wan, he doesn't want us to be together, or something like that. It might have been in the last movie. I don't give a shit. He does say that at some point in time. The problem is, like, everything that happens between him and Obi-Wan that, for the most part, is meaningful is told and not shown, which is why it's a hard buy for me. It's like, anytime him and Obi-Wan, like, have a difference of mind, they just, like, settle it. But he goes back and bitches to his girlfriend about how Obi-Wan is doing this to me. I guess this moment where he like assumes Obi-Wan has changed you and all that shit, it's too much of a jump. For me, it's too much of a jump. Like, I get he went and killed kids and he went and did all these terrible things. But then he comes back and people are talking to him. And I think, yes, he did terrible actions, but he did terrible actions in the past when he killed the kids with the sand people.
Right.
It's just the jump where he's like, his entire purpose of going to the dark side was Padme.
To save her.
And he just throws her aside immediately. He doesn't seem like his character is not built on power. It was never built on power.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Well, he had power, but his sole reasoning for doing a lot of things wasn't power based.
No,
That
it was.
is why Palpatine. He knew again. Palpatine is.
I get it. He's exploiting his power, but it's just like his character falls apart in this scene for me.
He was never. I honestly think he is. I honestly think he is, and there is many arguments, many debates. I think he is the chosen one. He had to experience both the light and dark side at some point.
Yeah,
Because if you look
can
at
agree with that.
his redemption story is 4, 5, and 6.
I can agree with him being the chosen one, and I can see that. I guess like I just don't like him choking out Padme in
I can
this
understand
movie.
that, but
And Heather, I know what you said, and yes, he is about power. He's always been about power.
Yeah,
At least in the second and third movie, where he's like,
the third one.
More powerful. I'm twice as powerful as I was before. When he goes off on those tangents of his power and his power of being almighty.
And even in the second one, he sat there and said, I will become powerful enough so that nobody has to ever die again.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm wrong. It's just I did not really like the turn against Padme because it kind of, for me, it was like
Well, I think
it killed the nuance to his character.
So
let me just say that
the story does go that she does die in childbirth. We know this, right? So they had to and this was George Lucas when he wrote the book. He actually wrote it different first, and then he came up with this. This was his brainchild. He was going to do a series of books.
I think where the story goes, I would have preferred her being like a bystander that got hit by a fight that he was in control of, more than him choking her out.
Well, it still makes sense that he choked her out.
Go ahead.
It still makes sense that he choked her out because he was angry that Obi-Wan was there and thought that she had brought Obi-Wan.
I get that.
Because he was dealing with extremes in this.
But I feel like you could also be like angry without physically interacting with her. I don't buy he would hurt her as a character.
Oh, going over to the dark side makes you do things you would never do before.
Yeah.
I know, but I feel like it would be better for the story if she was unfortunately fallout.
I know exactly what you're talking about, where she essentially sees what's going on, but then you wouldn't have gotten. Well, I think you would have, like when they started, and then all of a sudden, lightsaber. But then again, once she's dead, the babies start dying anyway. So they had.
Well, I would have liked her to be like basically a casualty of the fallout between him and Obi-Wan, and focus on Obi-Wan. I think that is more realistic for the character turning to the dark side, where it's not that he's angry with her, he's angry with Obi-Wan doing that to her. And then he goes to do something to Obi-Wan, and they like fucking hit a stalactite or stalagmite or whatever the fuck it is, and it like hits her or something, where she's done. And it's like, oh my god! And then he's like, "You did that to her." I would,
or she's pushed off by a force push that goes awry.
I would, and where the story goes, I would much more it be completely him being hands off with her, and things being happening to her due to his actions. I think that makes more sense because where they go later, it's like he gets blamed for shit, and it's like I feel like he should not have any actual blame when it comes to her.
Mm-hmm.
But and then this is also why I don't like the fact that she's dying. Why? Because she wants to. Retarded,
yeah, that part. Yeah, I get that. So,
like, I would use that like environmental shit to be why she dies.
Say it again?
With that being
The
said,
environmental.
So the
Right.
environmental
With the-
attack between him and Obi-Wan would lead to her pregnancy and death, where it's not necessarily him, but his actions that led to her dying.
Yes, I agree. I don't think she should have actually died by his hand. I think that she should have died while
But his actions led him to fight
his
Obi-Wan
actions led him
and
to
led
fight.
him to do terrible things,
Then
and
I
you
like,
can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, somebody hitting with their lightsaber and
or it's like
rock.
errant rock smashed her in the head.
or force pushed on her eye. That
Yeah.
being said,
What? Hurry it up.
No, I think they're
this
done.
was the best lightsaber fight of the prequel trilogy.
Well, I'm not
Oh,
even
yeah.
done with it yet, but it hasn't even started.
Oh, I thought we had gotten that far. My bad.
You know
I'm making up
what?
my-
What music played during this fight? Because I can't. I don't know. It didn't have the music of the first fight. Episode one.
Not the Duel of the Fates. Nope, definitely
no.
not. I think it's a version of Duel of the Fates.
I don't think it needed
There
it.
was no words.
Which is why
to
it's
it.
so
It
good.
was just
There-
music.
No, but he's saying what was the name of the song?
I don't
I
think there was
fucking
any.
don't know,
Like
and
I think
don't
Heather's
care. I wanna
right.
get done
I don't
with
think.
this.
I don't think there was any music.
Say
There
it again.
was music.
Yes, but I can't remember the name of the each fucking song. Like a lightsaber fight has a song to it, like the Duel of the Fates in episode 1. I don't know what it's called in episode 3, but it has an actual song. It has a song
Yeah.
dedicated to it.
Yeah,
Like all the
it's
major
not memorable.
scenes had something dedicated to them.
It's not memorable, but the fight is fucking glorious.
It is very good. Very good. The best lightsaber fight in the Star Wars movie. It is number 1, and I'll tell you what number 2 is, but it's not in the prequels. It's close.
I love when they're like, where do we want this fight to happen? Lava planet.
Battle of the Hero. That's the name of the song.
Battle of the Heroes.
Send us to lava planet, please God.
So, great lightsaber fight. Lightsaber fight between Yoda and fucking Palpatine. They couldn't beat each other. They were too equal. And
Yep.
we'll go back to the beginning when they introduce each other, because we haven't even hit on that. The part where he walks in and he says, "A new apprentice you have," and then he goes, "I've been waiting for this for a long time," and then shoots him with fucking force lightning, knocks his ass clean the fuck out.
And he's like sneakily spying.
Yep. He takes those 2 fucking guards and just fucking, he's like, "Yeah, you're done."
Bye bye.
So that was, talk about that scene real quick.
So I had a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Would you have preferred
Mm-hmm.
the fight between Yoda and Palpatine happen prior to the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan?
So,
But it does.
Or would you rather have cut back and forth?
story-wise, they do happen simultaneously. However, I think I would agree that Palpatine and Yoda should have happened sooner.
Yeah. I would have put Palpatine and Yoda before the duel on Mustafar.
Either?
Yeah.
I think I would have cut about 10 minutes from the entirety of the action scene and made both happen like singularly. So you have the fight, then you have the lead up to Anakin choking out fucking Padme and then fighting.
Yeah.
But then I also think like this fight scene, though I love it, is too long.
Between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's too long.
I agree, but it kind of needed to happen to give the gravity of the situation.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's 100% needed to happen. It's just the fact that I think it's about 3 minutes too long, 3 to
Right.
5 max.
I can see that, and then you got the and I'm gonna tell you right now, I seen this in the movie theater. And I had a friend sitting right next to me, and I'm like, if they don't fuck, because they so far have hit it on the head with the story that I was, I had known and read about, and not read. I didn't read the books, but I know enough about the lore
Yeah.
to just read certain things, and I click it, and I read really weird. I'm weird. So
I'm weird too.
So they.
Oh.
The scene where Anakin loses his arms and his legs. That scene hit it right on the head exactly as the story was told.
Yes,
But I
it
also
did.
hate the idea where it's like, normally if a film is going to be like, I've got the high ground, they will call it out or foreshadow it at some point in time.
They had to, because it was happening. They knew it was happening, and the way that they did it, it's the way it's read in the book. And I wish I could pull up in the book and.
But I
But
wish they were like,
right on,
if you're fighting someone from higher ground, you shouldn't.
Again, you are correct, but again, what did Anakin say? You underestimate my powers, and then he
His arrogance finally caught up
he
with
did
him.
a fucking
No, it makes sense.
Do you
Just
know-
like they did half the work for this scene.
I
They
get
didn't do
you.
the full work.
Do you know what they did? You know what he did next? He did a
Oh,
shooting
man.
star press.
He turned him into a fleshlight.
Turned into Brock Lesnar doing the shooting star press at WrestleMania 22.
But the truth of it is, they did foreshadow part of that fight, part of that ending scene to the fight, where Anakin's arrogance, which you're waiting the entire prequels trilogy,
the
finally
interaction
catches up with him.
the interaction between these two now and it'll be their last interaction until
Kenobi.
It's so
Well,
crazy
yeah.
because I'm watching the Clone Wars, right? And you get like, they do a much better job of showing Anakin Skywalker than the movies. Though the movies do a decent job, right? Like this, they show like the fact that he's not a bad guy. He's just he
He's
rolls the
severely
dice on
misled.
himself.
his mind was twisted by the dark side.
Well, I mean, in the show so far, from what I've seen, he rolls the dice, but he always bets on himself, which is perfect for his character. I just wish we saw a bit more of that.
It comes to fruition.
I do love the fact that he fucking chops his fucking body parts off, and he's like, "I hate you." One of the best fucking scenes I've ever seen. When he looks up at him with the fucking, he's got the fucking Sith eyes, and I hate you.
Yeah, he's now full on turned to the dark side, because once you start using the dark side of the Force, you start using it, and it's explained. If you're feeling pain, you use a lot of your power and your energy, hiding that pain.
Well, I mean, like from
So,
the
like,
negative things in life.
some ways, the dark side will, if you are physically hurt, like Anakin was, you will then start to give yourself shots of morphine. Like, you won't feel any pain.
Yeah, but it's like the allure of the dark side is to find broken people,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like you take somebody that is strong in mind but weak in body, and you turn them ridiculous, which is
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
But this was great. This was fucking great.
Yeah.
One of it's hands down the best lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars.
Yep,
I
agree.
love the set piece for Mustafar. I love Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor fucking kills it. You were the chosen one.
Yes.
You were my brother.
Balance the Force, not destroy it.
And so does his fucking Hayden Christensen. I hate you. So good. This is like you can't get better.
And everything about it is juxtaposed, like Anakin's outfit to Obi-Wan's outfit to the combat styles to everything is like. And
It's
even
also
when
like the
Obi-Wan
most
comes
risky
off,
fucking fight.
Even when
fighting on,
Obi-Wan
like-
comes off the ship, he's bathed in light, while Anakin is coming from the dark.
The
darkness.
cinematography is great because
Yeah,
they
it's-
really do a good job of showing him in darkness and Obi-Wan in light throughout the whole movie. But it's hands down one of
The best lightsaber
things I've
fight
seen.
in the prequel trilogy and probably in the entire series.
It's the best. I'm
All right.
not gonna lie.
So yeah, it is. I call it number one. I call it
Same.
number one
Yeah,
for sure. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan has taken. Sorry. As Obi-Wan watches Anakin's close catching fire.
Oh wait, no, sorry, you're here.
Oh. So back on Mustafar, the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan takes them through the Separatist hideout. Now at this point, Yoda's lost his
Yep.
fight, so he calls Bail Organa
Bail.
and tells him that he's
fight
failed, and
was
so on and
kind
so
of
forth.
hilarious.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So the
Throwing
scene,
pods at each other.
that scene where they started throwing shit at each other, where Palpatine takes that fucking Senate seat and throws it at him, and then Yoda's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And then he starts spinning it, and then he just shoots it at him, and fucking the Emperor's standing up there going, "Hey!"
So the thing that we were watching this, right? And JP's like, it's not that he's more powerful than Yoda. It's just Yoda is kind of
Smarter.
like he's kind of gimping himself because they can use Force lightning. They can use all these things. They just don't deem it like good side of the Force.
Honorable.
Yeah.
So
they
he
will not
chooses
use
to
it.
fight against the lightning instead of
So he
using
basically
it.
handicapped himself and then lost.
He did, but he didn't. How do I say this? He didn't lose. He knew he was gonna lose.
He didn't lose the like.
It was
eternal-
more of a tactical retreat / draw.
He didn't
than
lose the eternal battle. He lost the
He lost the battle
not
to
the
have
war.
a chance at winning the war.
Exactly. Yeah.
He knew he was going to lose the battle. He knew he was going to lose the battle, but he wasn't going to lose the war. So he fucking
Well, he
took
tried
the
for
retreat.
the battle.
Yeah,
So
tactical retreat.
I don't
Like,
think.
I'm
I think
done.
he was
Send me
trying to.
to a planet.
I think he was trying to stop him, but he just realized it's like this is gonna take too much time. I don't have time for this shit.
I feel like Yoda as a character is just someone that's like an observing force. He never really like in these movies he kind of like instigates things, but I feel like he just kind of he evolves to be like an omnipotent observer.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So Obi-Wan force jumps onto a nearby bank when he claims. Oh, never mind. So using a comlink, Yoda calls Bail. Yoda comes to get him. He jumps through that little hoop. He looks at him and goes, "Failed. I have into exile and must go," which means you know where he's going. He's going to the Dagobah system, which we'll get into down the line. So back on Mustafar, the duel between Anakin and comes Obi-Wan. So the whole there was a couple of times in that fight I'm like, okay, he just jumped there. I'm so confused. He should be like, why was nobody on fire?
Because nobody landed in the lava?
I think it had a lot of it.
Why
had to
was
do with-
nobody like burning from the fucking heat of the planet? We'll
Yes.
never know.
So I think a lot of it had to do with the Force. It's just a planet. It was a planet that they in the movie, in the story. That's where he did.
Not to mention they showed that there were shields around the buildings.
It's true.
Yeah, the buildings are fine. It's just like when they got down to like 3 inches from the lava, nobody felt anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the Force.
I don't
that's
really
all
care.
me
It
neither.
doesn't matter.
So-
The
so-
scene was too cool. I don't
Yep.
give a shit.
The duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan takes them through the Separatist hideout, then out onto a river lava. Eventually, Obi-Wan force jumps onto a nearby bank when he claims Anakin should not follow because he has the high ground. The Sith
Again,
apprentice,
another great line.
Mm-hmm.
yes, and it's true. The apprentice
just not
refuses to back
alluded to.
down and attempts to jump over the Jedi. Kenobi takes the chance to slice at Anakin, cutting off his limbs and sending him tumbling down to the edge of the lava river.
I mean, doesn't doesn't Obi-Wan destroy Darth Maul from not the high ground?
You'll see if you haven't seen it. It's not where he destroys him. He got lucky.
What do you mean?
So,
In Clone Wars.
in Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
he got lucky.
Yeah.
The arrogance of Darth Maul.
The arrogance is a big player in the prequel story.
Arrogance cost Darth Maul in that fight. Otherwise,
Yep.
he's going to win.
But he had the high
Patience-
ground.
Patience over aggressiveness over.
I feel like they just fucking pick and choose. And everybody
Yeah.
that's a fan is like, that's why? I think like to be honest with you, I think like 50% of Star Wars fans are, they're not apologizing, but they're making sense of something that doesn't make sense because the person that made it isn't very smart.
Okay, so again, I just said it. He was lucky. I'm not. It's the only way I can justify it. The way the story was told, he was lucky. It's something that he shouldn't have, but he did. And it was only because Darth Maul arrogance and knowing that he was gonna win at some point.
Now,
Yeah.
watch in the Star Wars universe how many people take advantage of not the high ground.
Well, anyway, it happened, and it didn't work this time. So,
Yeah.
the Sith apprentice refuses to back down. As Obi-Wan watches, Anakin's clothing catches fire from the river, and the Master's apprentice screams in pain and agony as Kenobi takes Anakin's saber and leaves, unable to help Anakin and unwilling to kill him.
Well, he cut off like most
Well,
of his
he
limbs.
he did the right thing. He wasn't going to end Anakin's life.
But he wasn't going to save him.
He wasn't going to save him. He wasn't going to be. Essentially, he was doing it like, okay, I cut his arms and legs off. He's just going to lay here and die, slow, painful death. But I'm not going to be the one that actually ends his fucking life.
He might be a monster. No, but I get the idea behind him being like 85. I think Obi-Wan is like 90% good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he did that, where like Mace Windu is like 50-50 or 60-40, where he was like, we need to kill him, he's too powerful.
Right.
And I get that, and I like that. I like that there is like difference in the order.
Yeah.
Anyways, fucking.
Yep. Sometime later, having sensed that his apprentice was in danger, Palpatine arrives on Mustafar. The apprentice is then taken to an Imperial medical facility on Coruscant, where she begins the painful task of trying to save Anakin. That scene was so good.
Yes, it was.
It was like fucking burned corpse.
No, what they were doing.
When they were giving
Darth
your
Vader?
first look in the prequel trilogy of Darth Vader, as opposed to Anakin Skywalker.
I do love the fact that it's like a broken person becoming like the most feared fucking villain in this universe. But it works.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing I love that I didn't realize until we did this fucking roundtable is how good that character is. They start him off as a kid with like mechanical genius, and then he becomes half a fucking robot, and it's so perfect. Even though like he doesn't have like the say in the robot he becomes, I'm sure he knows how to like tweak his system and be great. I just love the fact that he was like a gearhead that turned into a fucking cyborg.
Yes.
A deerhead who turned into a deer.
So, meanwhile, Obi-Wan has taken Padme to a distant asteroid wherein they meet Yoda and Organa. A medical examination shows Padme appears to be healthy but seems to have lost her will to live.
I hate this. This is the thing I hate the most about this entire movie.
So I think they did it where she knows he has gone to the dark side, and I'm telling you, I get it. I can understand it. This is where he goes to the dark side. She has no will to live. She has nothing to live for anymore.
I mean, I get the storyline they're trying to tell. That I tell for the most part is the fact that he and him going to the dark side was what ultimately caused her death.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the thing I floated about her being hit by his decisions is better than her just being like, I have decided. Like, she's excited about having kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm okay to die, even though I'm having kids. Which makes no fucking sense. I don't care.
She wanted to have kids with Anakin, not with what he's being.
Stupid as shit. The kids are more important than the fucking husband. It's really dumb. This is the dumbest part of this movie.
I hear you. I'm only telling you what I know.
I know.
Yeah.
This is why I was like floating that he got into an altercation that caused her to be like in trouble where they had to deliver the kids and she was gonna die. Makes a lot more fucking sense than her being like, I'm gonna have 2 kids, I'm just gonna die. What the fuck is that?
Agreed. I do agree with you. They could have done a better job, but they did not.
That's the worst part of this movie.
I get it, but it serves its purpose. This movie.
I mean, it serves its purpose, but oh my god, it's stupid.
I get you. I didn't like it either. A medical.
That's it, right? That's where it is?
Almost.
Not yet.
Meanwhile, Obi-Wan takes Padme to a distant asteroid. A medical examination shows she's healthy. She doesn't want to live. It is also revealed that she is pregnant with twins.
How would a medical examination show she does not want to live?
No, the droid doesn't say that. Obi-Wan says that.
No.
The droid says even though she appears to be healthy, we still seem to be losing her.
She doesn't want. She has lost the will to live.
Yes.
So I couldn't tell you why. It just
makes 0 sense. It's terrible.
Yeah, but
they did an examination. That's all I can tell you.
Her body was still failing.
Her body was shutting down, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, she might be the worst fucking character in Star Wars.
No.
She's integral to the plot, but they did nothing but shit on her face. Well, except for, like, a minute moment in episode 2. She's garbage. Anyways.
Yep. Padme manages to see each of them, naming them Luke and Leia. Following the burst, Padme tells Obi-Wan that she still believes some good exists in Anakin before she dies.
What?
So,
that doesn't even make sense, but whatever.
What? That didn't make sense?
Well, she let her
good.
She let her go, though.
She's giving hope. She's like, she's just saying, I still think there's good in him.
There's still good in him, and fuck my kids. Bye-bye.
I get it.
Yeah.
It served its purpose. Who cares? I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Back on Coruscant, Anakin has been rebuilt into an imposing figure in black, the suit he is now inside. The one thing keeping him alive, as he inquires about Padme, Palpatine claims in anger he killed her. This becomes a bitter blow to the once promising Jedi, who sacrificed everything, but now realizes that he lost everything to his greed. So now he's like, fuck it, I'm all in. And he
Yep.
becomes he doesn't think he has anything to live for anymore. So he just said, fuck it, I might as well just do this. I don't have any family alive anymore.
He doesn't know the kid survived either,
does-
so
yeah,
yeah,
that's-
makes
that's
sense.
my
I mean,
point.
it's like, this is why I hated him fucking choking her out. I hated that because, like, he is gaslighting him, saying that you killed her.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I think they could have done it a better way.
Still, the no is solid. Yeah.
Mm.
It's so terrible, but I love it.
That's
Back on Coruscant, Anakin has been.
You got that.
Following Padme's death, her body is returned to Naboo to keep her children safe.
Feed it to the Gungans.
Bail Organa takes Leia to be his adopted daughter on Alderaan, while Obi-Wan takes Luke to his uncle and aunt on Tatooine, who aren't really even his aunt and uncle, they're his step-aunt and step-uncle.
yeah. But
Yoda also tells Obi-Wan that while he will watch over Luke, he has training for him to conduct, which becomes the Force Ghost thing that you see
I'm gonna talk
at
to
the
you
end of
later
Snoke.
on Bail's ship. He also leaves C-3PO and R2-D2 in the care of the ship's captain, telling them the loyal crew member to have the protocol droids, and that is C-3PO.
And the ship captain they're meeting with is Captain Antilles.
Yes.
Of course it is.
On Naboo.
Because in a fucking galaxy far, far away, everybody is related.
Well, Captain Antilles lived on Alderaan.
Yep.
It's just like it's the smallest universe I've ever seen.
I don't understand why that's a bad.
No.
Everybody knows everybody, and everything is present and everything.
No,
Hey,
Captain
there's
Antilles
Chewbacca. You know how big a fucking galaxy is, and why nobody would ever interact with each other?
I'm so confused.
This is the first time they've ever interacted with Captain Antilles.
All I'm saying is that for as big as Star Wars presents itself, it's actually super small.
Okay. I'm not sure why that.
It's a galaxy
done.
far, far away, yet everybody is fucking meeting each other all the time, constantly. That doesn't even happen in the real world, and that's just one planet.
Basement. A lot of this shit takes place on Coruscant.
Yeah.
So
Or Tatooine, or
they're like
Kashyyyk.
all right there. It's like
Just like I just asked for you to think about it logically. There's just zero chance that everybody interacts with each other. 0% chance.
okay. Well, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're reading too much into it. I think.
Mhm.
I really do.
No, I'm just pointing out the fallacy of
Well,
we're gonna
everything
make
has
a galaxy-wide
fallacy, man.
storyline, but it's
Well,
gonna be as like everybody's gonna
not-
meet each other.
It's not. They only had so much time. They had to tell a story that they had to tell.
I get what they're doing. I'm just saying
I'm so confused as to what
you've turned a galaxy into a household. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
I got a migraine.
I'm confused.
Yeah, moving on.
On Naboo, a massive funeral is held for the former queen. On the Star Destroyer, the Emperor and Vader are now supervising the stages of the Death Star. And Alderaan Bail returns to his wife with Leia, and Obi-Wan shows up with Luke for his aunt and uncle. And the most iconic scene is then reshot with the uncle doing Luke's pose while Aunt Peru is holding Luke, and they're looking at the 3 stars. Or 3 suns.
I thought it was 2 sons.
2 suns, 3 suns, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, that's splitting hairs.
So that's how this
That's
ends, and
Revenge
that
of
is
the-
he becomes Darth Vader. He is now
Yep.
Darth Vader, and then, they do Rebels. But yeah, I mean, I get that the galaxy is small for this movie,
The galaxy is a small town in Ohio.
No, it's not. I don't.
For
think
how
it
many
is.
people interact with each other?
You got to
on a
remember,
frequent
it's a
basis?
Senate. Everybody's centric to the story. Well, I mean, now you're just like everybody. You want? I don't know what you want. What do you want?
No, I understand why
You
they
want
do
How
fucking,
it.
does he
you
have
want fucking Billy
relationships
Bob
with the
Thornton to
characters?
fucking pop in and say, "Hey, what's up? I'm a fucking Jedi, bitch." I mean, I don't know.
All I'm saying is Star Wars presents itself massive, but its true nature is very small. The storytelling is very small,
For right
where
now.
the world is very huge, which I'm fine with. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. It makes sense. You can't tell a cohesive story without it, but it is what it is. What do you think about the movie?
Second favorite movie of the series. I give this one an 8.75.
8.7.
I loved everything about it. The story, it culminated to what it needed. It did what it did. It followed the book.
Connor gave it 8.5. Pretty huge.
I again, it followed the book. The way that they did it was better visually than it was said in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is like the most successful of the prequels for sure, but it's also like you can feel the sense of the book coming through. Tim,
I give it an 8.5 as well. This was, I felt, the best of the prequel trilogies. It had the best lightsaber fight, bar none.
definitely did.
And of the prequel trilogy, it told the most concise story, I felt.
It
I
did.
agree with that.
I think all of them told a good story. I just
But
think
this
that
one made the most sense, though, is what I'm
all
saying.
of them made sense to me. All of them made sense to me, but I will say that
I mean,
these
they all
three,
make sense, but they just don't put in the
yes, they don't. They don't.
footwork.
All of them made sense. The way they explained things made complete sense to me, but they fast tracked things way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
was very
that's
much
made
like
for
bullet
movies.
points. The movie,
Yes.
the second one. This movie is better than that. I think
Yeah.
I gave the first one like a 7. The second one, I would probably give a 7 as well. This to me is. I'm not gonna go 8.5. I'll go 8.25. It's really good. It's probably like with JP. I think it's the second or third best Star Wars movie.
It's
Probably
the
second.
second. It's the second best Star Wars movie.
Probably
Second
second, but it
easy.
has. If it wasn't a Star Wars movie, it wouldn't be that high for me. It has glaring problems that
Agreed.
we've discussed throughout this whole night. So
Agreed.
Mhm.
I think story wise, it was almost. It's the story wise.
the story is good, but it's hard to judge a single movie because there's build up for a couple, the last two,
Yeah.
and the ones that follow. So you're always gonna have to take into account to where this lands. Still, as a Star Wars movie, fucking great. It's hard to get better,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it's the best use of the Star Wars brand. And good God, we'll probably never see it again.
So yeah, that was I will get Heather's thoughts. She isn't feeling too good, so
Yeah,
we'll get
okay.
Heather. We'll get
She'll
Heather's-
probably land. She'll probably land around us.
She'll
in some
probably
way.
land right where
Yeah.
we land. She enjoyed this movie. I know.
I did too.
Every time I watch it, this is one of those movies that I'm enthralled by because the story. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I always have been. I've always been intrigued by the story of how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. This told that story. I knew where it was going, but there were still some things that shocked me. The way, the reason, how it happened. I mean, I do agree with Basement on the fact that it should have happened to the point where it wasn't actually something that Anakin did. It was something that Anakin was involved in that killed her.
Yeah, which he kind of did, like because of his turn, his actions hurt her in a way where she was not going to live past childbirth. I think that would have been a better choice.
He should have either that or stabbed her accidentally.
No, I feel like the best bet would be he decides to move something with force and like the chain reaction drops a rock on her or something. Like something that basically like he did not see happening, but because he turned to the dark side and became someone that was fighting against something, his actions led to it. I think that's actually way better than her just being like, I'm done. Peace out.
Yep.
I mean, that's the weakest part of the story. Other than that, everything's good. Most of the fights are great. The pacing in this movie is so much better than the last two. The cinematography is so much better than the last two. This is the one I would include with the original three as something that if you want to get into Star Wars and you're not a huge fan, watch those at least. You don't necessarily. I mean, I honestly feel like if you want to get into it, you need to watch the first two prequels. But if you want to just get like a quick course in Star Wars, watch episode 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep. Essentially.
Yeah.
I can't disagree. I do.
Great movie. Very enjoyable. A lot of fun.
Yeah. No.
All right.
With that said, I think we're good to go. Next week,
Tomorrow.
are we going to do solo? Well, with the show,
Oh.
are we doing solo, or are we?
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm up for it.
Okay. So
Solo, I've watched once. I actually kind of liked it the first time I watched it.
So we'll do
We'll see.
Solo next, which is the next movie in the line. With the, we get to meet a young Han Solo.
I didn't really care for a young Han Solo, but they were going to do it. But I didn't hate the movie. I feel like it's actually unfairly hated.
Mm-hmm.
There's reasons why I think I know them too.
To be clear, this movie should have never been made, but the movie was made. So tomorrow we're gonna watch Five Nights at Freddy for Halloween during No Bucks Given. We will put the link for the movie in the fucking chat, and everybody can watch along with us if you have the ability to.
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, maybe we'll go back to Jackbox, but we'll see.
Yep. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Basement, thank you. Tim, thank you. Heather, love you. And Connor, we'll get your thoughts on the end of it. Just a quick.
Oh, he gave it 8.5.
Oh, that's right. We'll let him finish his thoughts.
Yeah, he had another thought somewhere.
We need Heather, but nobody tell Heather what we gave it, and we'll see what she says.
I'm sure she
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that said, I want to thank everybody. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow night.
All right.
Or tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Peace out, bitches.
Clocks, that's how they work. I am way overtired.
I gotta work today.
I don't. Actually, technically I do. I have to do volleyball tonight.